what my prediction is right now. God forbid Richard Sims might be the only right one out of all of us. I'm not even going to count the ones who backed South Korea. They're just pandering. But it is time. 64 players at the start of this tournament had high hopes coming into it, but only 4 can walk away as champions. Day 3, match 1, we are into Miramar. It's southeast to northwest.
Into Miramar once again. We have got at least 2 more games of Miramar for today. Game 11 and Game 12 overall. And for Korea, they come in as the leaders. It's not a massive lead, though, only 16 points. And a large reason for that is their placement points aren't even close to their kill points because they haven't actually won a game yet. Which
is wild to think about, isn't it? Because we looked at the circles, let's say specifically on Erangel, and it was predominantly with them. They had a good couple of games, but they played it out. There's no taking it away from them that they definitely put the pressure on because it was the kill points. If it was just placement, then you could say, hey, they just banked on the circles. Not the case. But what happens if that can't be replicated? Can they get placements here, or do they even need them? That's the bigger question.
Well, it's kind of ironic, right? They haven't actually won a game, but they do have the most placement points. They've got 30. No one else can actually achieve that right now. The closest is Russia on 27 and Canada on 27, both, of course, having picked up a win. Sometimes winning doesn't really mean everything if you can't do it on a consistent basis. Really, at the end of the day, you kind of want to be aiming for top 5 finishes just about every game, and so far Korea's just about done that.
You're absolutely spot on. Now let's take a look at where people are landing. Brazil over towards Monte Nuevo. We do see, I want to look at towards Korea, of course. Oh, and a southeast circle.
No, not getting fooled this time. Didn't happen yesterday.
But what if? What if maybe we have a little bit of happiness, a little bit of joy? Who knows? We'll find out. We're all looking at those islands because it would be cool. And I know that Paperthin does have a couple of stories about Korea and what they call those islands. Maybe we'll get to a little bit of an information piece about that later on if it becomes relevant. However, let's look at what that top 3 are currently up to. I'm looking at Korea right now. They have Picardo as all their own. Yes, they aren't quite in the circle, but they're very close by. They could play Gatekeeper. They could do whatever they really want with this.
And obviously for the zone that we had similar to this yesterday, didn't go to the islands, but the team that actually won that game was Japan. They come away with the win. And obviously when you look at the zone, they are slap bang in the middle, so you can see kind of why they were able to do well. The other team, though, was the United Kingdom, who also did very well. And obviously they're not inside of the zone, so I guess potato in the end. And for South Korea, PO, Eonix have been the starlets of the PUBG Nation Cup, followed probably in 3rd by Duckmans.
Yeah, and speaking of Duckmans and Thailand, they are looking around, but they're getting a little bit too close to, for comfort, for me at least, towards Australia. If Duckmans keeps going north, he might stumble across them. He's safe for now, but they're maybe just collecting vehicles, kind of just supplementing the... yeah, definitely looking for vehicles now, so that's a bit of an issue because they would, it looks like they might have been considering rotations, and it looks like Minoru's actually maybe hunting for a vehicle himself. He's out in the middle of nowhere, so that could be what's happening to him. And this could be a problem for their rotation. If they are caught out in a very bad predicament, in a bad spot, and they maybe wanted an early rotation, this could potentially slow them down.
Yeah, look, I don't think that anything bad is going to happen to them right here around the power grid region, but as you said, slows down their rotation, means they get into the zone a little bit later, means they don't quite get the area that they would like to see. Mert with an AK, no scope though, it's going to be difficult to land shots onto Nim from Vietnam. They're able to get away across the road safely. And for Vietnam, Turkey, these teams we're seeing, and Japan, of course, as well, all pretty much center of the zone right now for phase 1.
Yeah, they're trying to really push the limits, and considering how busy this area already is, that's a... I don't want to say risky, but it could be a bit of a problem. They need to be very careful. People are definitely out for blood today. They've seen the bar has been set by the absolute killers of Korea. So everyone's trying to kind of replicate that game style. Now look at this. You have Finland, Japan, Turkey, Vietnam. Argentina's getting in there now, and Finland down towards the south. These are all the kind of more likely teams to clash, at least for those center spots. It may be just a little bit of, I guess, kind of peacocking more than anything. But beyond that, let's look on the outskirts. We do have Team UK having a little loot over towards Hacienda. Perfectly fine. Australia out towards the west of them. That could be maybe a rotation, a couple of bullets on there. But beyond that, I don't see them having too many issues. There's the first kickoff. We do see Japan claiming the knock towards Vietnam. That's to be somewhat expected. This is those close quarter fights. If you aren't scouting properly, you're going to get punished.
This is about to be a close quarter fight, though, between Argentina and Japan. Depp has spotted Homie rocking up onto their doorstep. Argentina don't have the numbers, though. Currently 2 versus 2, Sez and Depp by themselves. The other 2 members of Japan just a little bit further up north. The other 2 members of Argentina a little bit south. So both teams are split up here, and both teams look like they're actually going to disengage early. A couple of smokes thrown. But one thing I wanted to touch on was two other teams that are inside the top 5, United States and Russia. They're the furthest away from everyone from this zone, all the way out to the northwest. La Cabrera, El Pozo as well. I think we're going to see the United States make their way down west, down to the south, and wrap in from the south side of this Phase 1 zone.
Yeah, that looks like the smart play. It looks like what they're at least opting for. But Argentina did opt to back away from Japan, but it seems like they've come across one of Turkey's players. Sixmo here, not had the highest highlights if you want to look at the rest of Turkey, but he's certainly a damage dealer. Not this time, though. Argentina drawing blood and overwhelming the one man. You can't get away with these very split up, very sporadic looting areas that maybe Turkey were looking for. Simply put, you're going to get outdone and you're going to get punched down.
Oh, well, that's just an awful way to go, especially on the final day, the first game. Sixmo, the scout, looking for the compound early. And for Turkey, they unfortunately lose position. For Argentina, they gain it now, and they also pick up a free point.
And Korea on the move, leaving Picardo not too long ago. They're just kind of west of Los Leones, keeping you up to date on our current leaders. Swinging around towards potentially where you could see Turkey or Finland. And Russia in the north west there. They do have a long rotation, but we know how they like to play. They can be meticulous, cautious, slow, and then they really put that stranglehold on late game. That's yet to be seen, though.
I think they might actually wrap in through the middle on the western side of this Phase 1 zone, anticipating that the north side of this zone is going to be quite congested, and so opting for a different path, essentially coming in from behind Thailand, and, well, that would make a doozy of a battle if it does happen. Australia gets spotted. Luke 12 by December 12th. Luke able to get away for 11 health, but now we'll see whether or not there is still some more shots to be fired of a distance, and I think he's safe for the time being, but boy, he needs to heal up quickly.
Yeah, he really does. Luckily for them, to some extent, there's no one really pulled up here, so he should be safe to get a heal off. He needs to be very careful pulling up like this. China are not far. They are definitely hunting them down, keeping that pressure up, but it looks like Luke 12 will get away for now, unless someone maybe catches a very opportune glimpse at him. Surprised he hasn't taken the time to heal, maybe feeling they want to move further away from that threat. But Team UK is waiting not too far off, and again, China do get vision. He's a one-shot, so again, caution has to be shown here.
Bit of a distance now, though, between China and Australia. I think those shots aren't really going to land.
Oh, I don't know. Luke's in a spot of bother.
Jeez.
Zoidmate's at least pulled up as well. You can see the 24s come out, so hopefully he's got a bit of range to that. Maybe just keep some pressure on them, suppressing fire just to force them back away from this peak on the ledge. Allow time for Luke to pull off the hill, which he's done. He's back, he's good to go. SLR could be knocked out and it's time to fight this back. But you are seeing in that mini-map, someone's getting a little bit close. I don't know if they're going to engage on this.
Yeah,
I don't know how wild they're feeling here.
It was Michael from United Kingdom. On our map, we can see that he's pretty close to Australia, just not close enough to really engage, as you said. So we move over to Chinese Taipei. A surprise packet for me, at least for how they performed over the first 2 days. SR Milk, we've seen some highlight plays out of their players. Here comes Russia, and they're about to go through Picardo. It looks like it will be the middle section out west for Phase 1. And speaking of Phase 1, it's about to end in a minute.
Yeah, Thailand could be the ones greeting them if they keep going on this trajectory for now and they just kind of slap themselves in there following the road southeast of Picardo. They could come across the Leones, and then north of that is Thailand waiting. So this is quite an interesting setup for most of the teams. China going right past Australia at the moment. They're putting a couple of bullets right back at them. Maybe a nice bit of sweet revenge there. But it's a very north to south split here. Most of the teams trying to sit on the band between Los Leones and basically the coastline, knowing that eventually the circle will move away from the water and towards the land. It's the smart thing to do. It's you're hedging your bets, and every team seems to have that in the back of their minds. Now, we do see that the USA is just about to make it in on that southern road, as you predicted.
Well, they've already actually made it in. It's just Valiant who's still far behind inside of the blue. But Hawaka and Zampa are actually just south of South Korea, ironically, in this Phase 1 zone. Brazil actually were just behind Valiant as well, but they've diverted slightly as we go over the map. 5 seconds time. It's get your prayers out time. If we want to see these islands. Brendan, green, please! No. Didn't happen.
It's still someone in there. It should move away from it, but it does create a bit of an issue because there's still a lot of water here and no one really wants to take those islands. With the likelihood of it moving away, it's going to limit the amount of available area.
Speaking of moving away, though, look, I hate to say it, but South Korea have been quite fortunate over the first 2 days. This zone moving drastically far away from their current position, south of Los Leones. This might actually be the worst zone that they have had throughout all of PUBG Nations Cup right now, so it will be interesting to see how they traverse this.
Yeah, no, I'm curious as well. Now, I would say with Los Leones still, I guess, on the very cusp of this circle, it's not actually in it anymore, but you could use it as a rotation path because you could almost, I guess, somewhat happily predict that no one's going to have taken that spot. Everyone will abscond away from Los Leones. It could be there as a potential, but it's risky. We do see Korea taking their time here. They'll be fine. Back in the vehicles they go. It looks like they're opting for a very similar route towards Brazil and Russia. So these guys will be working their way around on the, I guess, longer side of rotation. They do need to be careful here. If Brazil have nothing to lose at this point, if they want to try and make up for the mistakes they made, this could be an engagement they take. They might just completely go past each other.
United States going up the Eastern Highway. Just want to touch, United Kingdom have got a nice 2-2 split in this zone currently. Good start for them. Samti's going to be spotted by Basil. Throws out the nade. The shot misses as well as Samti gets behind the container. But that Murata is not going to live for much longer. And I think that means now Finland are going to have to commit to this fight potentially here.
I don't know if they fancy that. Samti nade out, it's time to go. We're going to have to see if they can hold them back. Vietnam aren't really feeling this one too much. You do have Germany as well, just towards the north of Impala. So again, this is teetering on the edge. If it does explode here, I'm sure we'll catch it. Tixu's trying to find a glimpse, but again, Vietnam relatively spread apart, so they shouldn't be trying to push this engagement. We are still seeing Korea being quite cautious here, it looks like. Touching on the blue, and they're going to be working their way around. Russia about to find their way in as well. China waiting on the other side.
Yeah, Germany's actually starting to push down Impala as well. Hearing the shots, they're pushing closer towards Finland rather than Vietnam. So Finland might find themselves, well, in the middle of two different teams here at the south side of Impala if they're not careful. Right now, though, they've got compound buildings. This is the thing with cities as well. It makes it difficult to get these knocks and engage in these fights. You don't want to be too aggressive. For example, if you're Germany, you've already got decent position inside of the zone. There's no need to be overly aggressive here.
I am a bit worried about Korea's approach to this, and the desk I'm sure will break it down more, but they look very passive for Korea. Considering they'd been quite assertive prior to now, it looks like this long rotation might put them right next to Australia, China, or Russia. All very aggressive, scary teams, and again, this northern engagement could kick off at any moment.
I wonder if they want La Bendita for the high ground advantage to be able to scout this phase out and get, you know, some information. The downside is Russia's already there. They might not know that.
Yeah, they're going to find out with a horrible surprise if they do, but it looks like they've kind of adjusted, going just north of Los Leones on the smaller road coming straight in, so they could find some room. Thailand is not far away from that. Again, I'm trying to keep our eyes mostly towards that top 3, top 4 position here, just because it really could shake things up. Russia, a couple of shots down towards Australia, but these are quite far away, even with a doozy on the other side of it.
Yeah, obviously for China, this is the last-ditch effort. No points from this game. I would put a line through them for their chances.
And there it goes, yep.
And for Russia, if they could, say, get a wipe on China, well, that's 4 crucial points potentially, as Korea are now just starting to make their way out of the blue, which we actually are now getting phase number 3 as well. Does it go to Impala? No, it actually shifts over to the west, over towards Korea. La Bendita's only slightly in. It's no longer really...
engagement. Hold on. We actually have Korea and Russia having a bit of battle. Pio's already kicked this one off well by getting a very strong tag towards Senya. He's going to find a bit of a deflate to get the heal off in, but let's see how aggressive they go, because you have Thailand setting up on the other side here.
Yeah, South Korea actually starting to disengage from that initial fight with Russia, heading towards Thailand. Canada grouping back up in the center of the zone. PO one last little shot before he gets back in his vehicle and sends it over to the rest of his squad, because they're going to need him. They are about to engage with Thailand right now.
This is... Oh no! Inonix has gone down! This is a disaster for Korea. If they don't recover right now, this could all fall apart. And there's the nade coming through. Loki's been caught off.
PO's coming in late. It was a steal from K-Mind as well onto Inonix. Thailand need these points as well. Not just the fact that they've got to wipe out Korea, but they want the points for themselves. And I think for Aqua 5, it's time to disengage. They can still have 2 players alive.
They could, and you do not want to give the points to Thailand. If you're going to be smart about this, you'd rather die to pretty much anyone else. Avoid Russia, avoid Thailand, move away. But this is what we mean about Championship Sunday. Anything can and will happen. Now let's see if they can disengage effectively. Russia's going to have hurt those shots, and they might work out who's kind of getting involved in this. And I'm seeing Kemba on the move. I'm seeing maybe Senya with him. And this is an engagement. We have Chinese Taipei having a bit of a battle with Germany here. They are holding the building for now, but would they dare breach this?
There's the live rankings, and Chinese Taipei in 4th. Nade goes in, but it's unable to find a German member. In fact, it does get Chris down to 50 health. We switch over to China now, who have actually caught back up with Australia, and that's going to be a knockdown, elimination. 3 are down. Is it 4? It is. Unfortunately, Australia out in last place. I don't like the words that are coming out of my mouth.
No, and it's a bit of a shame to see, but here's my choice of it all, and that couldn't go any worse for me, could it? Chris here, up up top in the building already. The compound has been breached. You're going to see that as well. Milk there leaving a sour taste in Kane's mouth. Looking for more, though. Do they re-push this? Taking time to fall back, make the heal. There's the engage, though. Third party, is it? No.
It's empty.
Yes, it's empty for Finland. The PEL teams may be trying to help each other out, but at what cost here? They're just brutalizing each other. BenzQ might be able to find an angle, but it looks like Leo has an idea.
Yeah, Finland pretty much control all of South Impala now. Up north is the exchange with Germany and Chinese Taipei. It was Chinese Taipei who initiated the fight. They were throwing in all of their nades. They might be out of that sort of ammunition. And Shyway will be bleeding out to Jempty. Leo and Milk, do they continue their mission in trying to take on Germany here?
It's a rough engagement if they do. They're pushing against hard cover, and you can see Odir Mayfire, if he keeps a good bit of insight towards this and a good bit of vision on the remaining players, he can relay that information to the others, the likes of BenzQ potentially. Milk is still waiting by, and Kane is still bleeding out here. Chris has been kept busy in the meantime. He can't make the play on this.
Let's head into phase number 4. Is it central? No, it's hard west. That's a hard shift over to Russia. Look at Thailand split, though, the 2-2 split. They control the entire southwestern side of this circle. They can gatekeep the last 2 members of South Korea.
We basically have the top 3 in one specific area. SR for now for Chinese Taipei, finding an engagement towards Odir Mayfire. That could at least alleviate some of the pressure coming down to the rest of his teammates. Smart move from him to try and isolate. The nade doesn't quite reach, and SR's in danger himself. Going to fall back away and try and find some cover.
Kate was able to get picked back up. BenzQ, though, knocked down. It's a 1-for-1 knock. Leo knocked by Chris, as Milk is still close. He does spot Chris, who was throwing out the nade. Did he cook it? Oh, he just didn't quite cook it long enough. It took some time, and Milk was able to get away. And he might be able to also get Leo back up. They need him. They don't want to go down to just 2 players. Oh, Chris from above.
He didn't see him. He didn't see him at all, just under the gun. Unable to get the vision. If he did, that would have been 2 kills. They're just down there, Chris.
Look down.
If only he knew. And Milk's falling off that revive every time because he sees this. And Chris has no idea. Milk getting away with murder as SR needs to move up and try and provide some support here. Chris, though, starts lingering, starts looking. This could be a big pickup here. You still see Leo looking worse for wear. There's the pickup. There is the brutality as SR wants revenge.
It's all pride for Germany. They're in last place. For Chinese Taipei, a top 3 spot certainly on the line. Currently in 4th on the live rankings. BenzQ still knocked down. Germany want to be able to regain some pride in their performance here at the PUBG Nations Cup, and Chris gets the knockdown onto Milk. Only SR remains, and he's inside of the blue.
And you have to give credit where it's due to Chris's position. He disengaged from the building. He's holding back, knowing SR needs to come his way. This is smart play from Germany. Be it too little, too late, it doesn't matter. Chinese Taipei, got 15. We've got a crash coming in.
Samti's going to be close to Basil. Up close, Mexi and Tixku back over to the wall. Jepti comes in as well, but Samti's going to be going down immediately. He was the entry fragger in this scenario for Finland. They no longer have positional control in this compound. Vietnam, they win the first battle. Will they win the war?
We're yet to find out. Still trying to find a way in here for Finland. They're being kept on the outskirts. Apparel waits down below, knowing the breach could be coming anytime soon. However, where's the utility from Finland? We're about to find it. Mexi with the tick, looking to try and maybe work out where these opponents currently reside.
I mean, that note pretty much says he doesn't have full information. Throw it into the smoke instead. Basil runs by. It gives Finland the go. They know that they're all inside now. Sapao so close to them. Can he get 1, 2? Sapao is dead! He gets the double onto Mexi and Tixu. Finland down to 1. Jepti through the door. No more. Finland are out in 14th place.
Devastating push for Finland. They could not clear those corners. And we are seeing Korea in danger. The USA moving from the south now. They're going to be moving up towards Aqua 5. PO just below Russia as well. This could be them going down well out position. PO on the engage towards Russia. A dangerous game, but he's found Senya. But Aqua 5 falls in the meantime. They're down to 1.
Yeah, it's last one standing now for PO. Many regard him as the best player in South Korea. Just wants to finish off Senya. Try and confirm a point. Garvey with a knockdown though onto Uber. Does put pressure back over to Russia. The nade just not close enough to finish off Senya. He crawls towards Kemba and says, it's a safe res. He says, no, it's not. I'm getting out of here. PO with the shots towards the Murano. They might still go for the res. Never mind. Books it out of there. PO is gonna get this kill.
He is, but it's a question of how long can he stay alive. Kemba is on the recovery mission trying to help out Aduzi, who's being kind of engaged upon by China. Aduzi's trying to hold on to this for dear life, but December 12th is knocking at the door, and that's going to be an execution. This could open this wide up.
It's gone so horribly wrong for Russia. From one point being able to potentially knock out South Korea, to a position where they might get 0 points from this game. Kemba is the last one standing, needs to somehow get Uber back up.
But then do not blink and miss this. The USA are right next to Thailand as well. We're going to see the top three all under pressure, all looking worse for wear here. The USA is about to find the fight. Germany's found the UK in the meantime, but that's beyond the point. Here's Thailand, here's the USA. It's a big battle about to go down.
It just doesn't stop. We've had battle after battle after battle. Bahawaka cycling through the nade, throws it out towards Thailand, but they've got the compound advantage. Defensively, they're in a better position than the United States of America. They're on the road. They've only got crashed vehicles to hide behind. They're also getting pressured by Brazil.
Exactly that, and look at the blue. That's going to be on their back anytime soon. Zampa is praying for an angle, a pick. If he can open this up, it's an avenue of approach. That's what they're banking on. That's what they need, and they're simply not getting it. Littering the floor with smokes might give them a second, but they need to make the play. And the man at the forefront is Duckmans. He would make first contact if they try and run that line, and that is a very scary player to move up against.
Duckmans, unfortunately, is on the low ground. It's going to make it difficult for him to have as big of an impact as, say, someone like Minoru Oshipi.
They're sending it. Bahawaka leading the way. They've made it to the wall, but look at the off angles coming in from Thailand. They're just about holding on to this. How are they still alive? Oh, Thailand's in danger as well. Zampa's gone down, though. He was your point man. Can they keep going? They need to keep the pressure building, but they're being held back. Only Sharky and Bahawaka are on their feet. The rest have already fallen, and there goes Germany. But now here comes the push. The USA is Duckmans, and oh my word, again Thailand hold on.
A 3K from Thanawa. They didn't even need Duckmans in that fight. They didn't use him at all, and Thailand are into the top 9 teams remaining. They're picking up kills. They're putting the pressure.
Look at this fire. Look at this fire. They're in the middle of the open. That's going to be Korea spraying down towards them. Canada, Brazil. Oh, Duckmans. He's gone. He's gone.
Oh, no. Duckmans obliterated into smoke, into nothing. And the rest of Thailand are on the edge of this circle. They're not even inside of the circle. Shippy, Minoru, Thanawa. They almost need to send it right into PO. If there's any other time to send it into that heart, now is the time to do it.
They're trying a new angle, and it may go even worse. PO, he's unleashing hell, and they've gone down. It's just Thanawa alive, and Korea is banking on these points. One man stands for Thailand, as Russia is losing out as well.
PO on 2 kills. If he gets Thanawa, it'll be 3, and it'll be an extra point. It's Rusty's error, but Thailand are out 9. They get no placement points from this game. That's a positive for South Korea.
But can Russia do anything? Good nades coming out, but still China has been an absolute thorn in the side. In the meantime, the UK goes down in 8th. Somewhat irrelevant to this matchup, but still, we have to remind ourselves, with Pio still alive, he's holding on to this. Oh, good nade. Oh, goodbye, Kemba. It's an absolute nuke. And Uber, the MVP himself, fights back just as hard, but he's all alone now. December 12th. Could he make the play? Does he go for the revive? Time is going to be ticking. 4 seconds until the blue moves.
Yeah, time is of the essence. Uber, underarm nade. Is it too far? No, it's not. He's got him. He destroys China in 7th. And Russia have now got 3 kills. All 3 of them to Uber. Russia are keeping their foot on the pedal in this first game of the day. But I want to switch the attention to Vietnam. They've got 10 kills. This is a team that was only 6th place coming into this game, tied with the United States in 5th as well. This is massive for Vietnam. They might enter the top 3. The nades.
You've got to be so careful. Argentina want this fight. The nades are rolling in. Oh my God, it's so good. Bombing obliterates Brazil, and he keeps adding the pressure. It's swift and it's decisive. Brazil go completely into tatters, but as do Argentina.
Pio stole a kill. That's an extra point. Not only that, they're in the top 3 all of a sudden. South Korea are in the top 3. At one point, they looked like they might have gone out in 12th with like no points. And somehow they always find a way. Pio, I did say many regard him as the best.
But can he do more? And I know it's a big question to ask, but you look at who's left. You have Canada and Vietnam. Now these two are going to be focused surely on each other. The big squad's left standing. And if that happens, Pio can somehow be the snake in the grass, the dagger in the back. Canada's starting to use all their utility here. They want to try and clear this out. Those long nades, trying to get that knock, allow that pressure to build. Moody, in the meantime, going to try and pick up that level 3 gear, essential to late game play now.
PO needs to actually start moving towards Canada rather than Vietnam. It seems like he's being attracted to Vietnam. That will be his downfall if he's not careful. Canada might not have spotted him just yet. And if they haven't spotted him, he should be able to sneak into their compound while Canada are trying to deal with Vietnam. But this has massive ramifications for the rest of the day. Canada in 7th, Vietnam in 6th coming into this game. And of course, South Korea, PO landing some tags, but that gives away his position now in the fields.
The one thing is, neither of these teams can truly cross to him without being open to the other, so he's somewhat able to get away with this until the circle moves away.
My days.
Canada has it all to play for. A big kill game from them as well. Same can be said for Vietnam. The teams who are within that 60-point cutoff can now really kick into gear. This is the performance you needed.
And this is also a nightmare for the likes of the United States, Chinese Taipei, even Russia to a degree. PO says, hello, Vietnam. Nice to meet you, Sapao. He puts him down. Battle is there, though, for the revive. It could be handy, it could be required. Levi's and Nim at the back have got the blue zone right on their backs. They need to somehow crawl over to the hut of their two teammates.
The one thing I want to say about Canada to take it down a step here is their positioning is good. I like what Maluk is doing there, trying to push up, utilize the terrain, ensure they're being kept back. The nades are coming through pretty strong. You can see them under pressure here. Vietnam tunnel visioning towards PO. He could be keeping their attention. The blues about to move.
He's got 4 nades left here, does PO. He could still yet maybe pick up 2, 3 potential kills onto Vietnam if they get closer towards him. Nim goes to the hut. That's one way to use the pickup truck. Maybe some lessons there for Brazil.
Wait, they're moving up towards Canada. That's a dangerous game. Drassel and Maluk are going to be on notice. They know what's happening, surely. Yes, it's K-Mine to find him. But all of this happening means it's still in the background. It's
He gets a knock onto Levi's. He steals the kill. This is huge. Vietnam getting ripped apart. Canada should potentially come away with the win because of this, because PO is on the edge of the blue. Surely he isn't able to pull a Duckman himself.
But he's doing the smart thing. While everything's happening, while in this mayhem, he's finding calm. He's making the move towards the circle. If he can swing south, there is an opportunity. He still needs Vietnam to keep Canada's attention. They've got to know there's still 6 players alive. They have 4 of them. There's still another standing for Vietnam.
Canada have to keep their composure right now. They cannot throw this away. They need to spread out, control the compound, grab all angles and vision that they potentially can. They know PO's roaming around the fields. They know his last rough location.
Don't do this.
They might have spotted him.
Don't do this.
Maluk,
Hold on,
please.
This is either smart or very stupid. Maluk might sacrifice himself for the greater good of information. Yes, you don't want to go 1 by 1, but you do have 4 players, so sparing 1 might be the play here. PO is a terrifying prospect, and now you're seeing Canada moving in. Please be smart about this, Canada. If you get third-partied here, if somehow the Vietnamese player comes out and maybe gets a knock, a tag, something, it's danger.
There's only 2 here for Canada, Maluk and Moody. The other 2 are back over to the compound. There goes Sapao. It's going to be a top 2 finish here, at least for Korea. Reminder, they still haven't actually won a game. Canada have actually won 2. This could be their 3rd win of the entire PUBG Nations Cup. Surely we don't see a 1 versus 4.
He's done the smart thing. Bag is gone. It's time to be the snake. Now, the only way you win this is with utility and 1v1s. You have to capitalize on mistakes. If there's a player can do it, it's going to be PO. But it's still Moody. It's still Maluki. These guys are very good, and they're going to see that nade. Suddenly, all eyes turn on that area.
Yeah, look, I mean, right now, PO, he's doing everything that he can. Unfortunately, the position is just not good enough. Moody jumping up to see if he can find him in the grass. He doesn't stick out because he took that backpack off, just like you said. He left it at that hay bale. But it needs to be knocked. There's too much pressure. PO gets a knock, but he cannot take out Canada. It's an 8-kill win, 18 points gained, and Canada pick up their 3rd win of the PUBG Nations Cup.
Big play from Canada if you want to see them moving up that leaderboard, but you cannot take it away from Korea again. They had so many issues. The circle was not theirs, but they transitioned very well. But Canada are fighting tooth and nail for this. I am so happy to see this for these guys. Very talented roster, and they played that end game with poise and incredibly smart play.
And obviously what a finish. Vietnam, Canada, South Korea. We saw the United States, we saw Thailand, we saw Chinese Taipei, Russia as well. The top 8 teams, and China, you know, like they all really went for this game, and I love to see that.
This is going to be an incredible final day. If this game is anything to go by, this is still very much up in the air. With Korea getting those placement points, with those kills for PO, it's going to be incredible. Xenox will be back in just a moment.
Round 12, Korea doesn't have a win, I would have said, oh boy, they've had a really poor tournament, hasn't quite gone their way, and yet they're on 100 points in first place. It's bizarre. It really is bizarre. But as we go into round number 12, they are still our leaders. But as I said before, 3 teams below them, all tied, are hot on their heels.
Let's see the drops. Any early contests, any early scuffles. I think, looking at this playing path, most will be able to get to where they need to be. Teams further out towards the west might have to stretch. We did see, I guess you could look at Thailand, for example, and some of the other teams having to stretch for those vehicles, having a couple of issues with them because it's quite compact here. But beyond that, you can imagine most should be okay. I don't think we'll be seeing too many people way far out towards the western side. Most of them should have somewhat necessarily, I would always say, a backup drop, but have that flexibility to adjust if required.
Yeah, and look, we touched on Canada, Thailand, Vietnam, Russia, currently in 5th position, should probably make note of that. They're only 5 points behind those 3, but it means they're 26 points behind Korea. Still with 4 games to go, they're in the mix, they're a possibility, but with each passing game, we're sort of losing some teams really along the way. Of course, that's how it generally goes on the final day.
It does, but you have to look at the ones at the start of the day who are in a very good position. The likes of, I guess you could say, Russia, one of those teams who certainly really lost out on a bit of that edge. Circle comes in, very similar to what we just witnessed. Maybe not so far into the water, you could argue, so it has a little bit more play towards the west of the island.
Well, I just want to make sure, obviously I can't see chat right now, it's not going there. It's impossible. It can't happen. For any time you want to see those islands in game, you essentially need a massive hard shift out into the ocean for that first phase. There's just not enough there. And so that won't happen. Don't expect it. Don't hope for it. Don't pray for it. What we might get, though, La Bendita, maybe even Los Leones down south.
But who does this play in the hands of? Canada. They're one of the teams. You got to look at them.
Vietnam?
I guess Vietnam, not bad either. These 2 teams probably have prime position in this, the teams that struggled. And we did put a lot of pressure on Korea and did the circle really play to their victory, or at least their victories prior to this with kills, with placements. And I think we had our answer from game 1 today that they certainly are very adaptable to new circles, new situations, 1 player alive against a million others. They can do it all. But the one thing I'm looking at here is Thailand is very close by to Korea. Now, again, not too surprising. No one wants to stretch too far away, but this is 2 very close teams, very close by.
And we did see, of course, those 2 teams fight early, actually, in the last game. Thailand coming out ahead. They got those 2 kills. Sort of looking at stats, Canada currently now first place in terms of placement points, 1 extra than Korea. They just lack the kills. In fact, they lack the kills compared to the rest of the top 5 quite significantly. So that's sort of been, not a downfall per se, but just sort of why they aren't maybe higher placed than their current tie position for the 3-way tie. Chinese Taipei, they fell away. They lost that fight against Germany. Yeah, they got third-partied as well. But for them, it was always going to be, you've got to win that fight, especially against the team that was in last place. No longer now, Pansy. There's a new team in last. It's Finland, by the way.
Yeah, okay. At least it wasn't my prediction this time. But it's real, all bad. Just feels EU, man. Thailand are on the move early. They've gone for an early rotation, it looks like, maybe trying to leapfrog ahead of Korea, at least in position. Again, by this point, and you've played Miramar a couple of times, these guys will know who's nearby them. They may not know their exact rotation routes because that may not even be set in stone, but they'll definitely know, okay, wait, are they setting up on this potentially? Look at Duckman's. It looks like they might be trying to find an early fight here against Korea. I'm not 100% sure, but it could just be the case.
Obviously, we can see it on the map. It's the exact same location that they were playing at in the last game, that sort of split across the road, similar compound building. You're right, they might be setting up for Korea again because they obviously know where Korea is going to be rotating out of from their looting location. Duckman's in a bit of a different spot, though, for the time being. Korea have got to be careful that they don't lose 1 or 2 early. It happened last game, and yet they somehow still made top 2 anyway.
Now, that's the thing, right? They can do it, but do they want to keep doing that? Probably not. You'd probably want your whole team into this, at least for the last couple of circles. But I do worry when we're seeing these kind of... This is first and somewhat second place. Yes. Oh, Lockie, if you hit that. My word. But it does mean that they're at least hyper-aware of this, and whether it's, I guess, a theory-crafted plan or merely one that's falling into place is yet to be seen. It looks like Thailand, for now at least, have consolidated some of their team, but they are still in a bit of a split here. Shippy and Duckmans are somewhat close by, but the rest of the team is still further back, so you probably don't want that full-on engagement just yet.
I don't think you see the full-on engagement, and the reason why is because they're on the edge of the western zone. Ideally, you want to push a bit more center, get more compound. bit more zone control in the center region of this sort of zone. Yes, there's a bit of water out to the east, so technically going out west, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. You'd rather be around Canada, around Vietnam's location. They're more central. They're more likely to have a better game. And Canada as well, having La Bendita could be crucial. I mentioned it in the last game, of course. You got that high ground, and especially on Miramar, it's just open field. You can see everything. You can hit everything. The only downside is you can be hit back.
Yeah, we'll see if that does play in. This is Russia making their way from the north. They still have a little way to go. They are mostly into the circle, but they're taking their time on that. Kemba joining through, and Senya the last to come out from the northern side. Germany not far off that. Also taking somewhat of a second to do so. Team UK is there. We have Sixmo pulling up. And again, is this Argentina fight? That was a bit of mutually assured destruction before. It felt like Pome's grenade, though, later on was quite good. Now, Sixmo in a bit of trouble. The rest of his team's backing him up this time in Beautiful Death. Iro are all piling into this. This is going to be a very bloody battle in just a moment's time.
Silzen's got that high ground, though, advantage that he might be able to spot the rest of Turkey that are coming in from behind. Sixmo on the top of this current compound building hasn't actually spotted any member of Argentina just yet. It's actually quite slow of a push as Miluk gets the elimination onto Summer. Great start for Canada as we head back over to Turkey and Argentina.
He's burning alive. Run, Iro, run. But can he make it away? It looks like he's just about made it out of that, so he can try and pop up the heel, but this is far from ideal. 3 players pretty much pinned in towards this building, and you have Argentina in a very nice position. Mert really needs to try and make a play out of this one, maybe try and support the team somehow, but you can see that utility being put down to try and clear these buildings.
Speaking of support, though, Ribox is not actually here. You can see him on the mini-map all the way up to the northwest. He's on the other side of the road and pretty far back. Yes, it might be able to help out a little bit, but Turkey are inside the building. He's not going to be able to spot much at all.
I don't mind him in that sort of position if he's trying to at least catch them if they tried to play out of that, maybe trying to hold off an angle to ensure they can't wrap on it. But now there's going to be an isolated player. That's going to be a beautiful death, and Sixmo combining, and now the push begins. Sixmo winding up to it, but you can see the pre-fire. They're trying to slow them down. The tick nade, the underhand, no, he's considering it, but he's going to let it go now on towards the stairs, but they're in the building. Yeah.
They know they've got the advantage here as well. It's 4 versus 2. As I said, Ribo's back. Sixmo gets an initial and immediate knockdown onto an Esther. Pony was able to get a beautiful D. Mert somehow takes his own teammate out. There's 3 down for Turkey. Pomi can somehow get a 4K here. Mert holds the angle, and so does Pomi. He doesn't know he's exactly there. Mert runs up the stairs. I think that was a pre-fire. He would have heard him running.
Pomi, you can see Mert on a recovery mission here. He knows he's made a terrible, terrible mistake. And the rest of Argentina now turning up. Ribo's coming in because he knows there's a real issue. If he has utility, if he has a nade, that could be huge. Oh no, Ribo, if you let that go, that'd be massive. It's push time though. They're going up to try and clear. That's such a terrifying way to play this. And now Mert holds the line.
Pomi, the last one alive for Argentina. They elected not to use the nade. Pomi doesn't have any. Mert down below. He went for the flush, but now he gets a kill. That's much better from Turkey. And yet he can actually get them all revived. They could have 4 standing by. No, never mind. Vietnam, though, picked up 1 or 2 in that. That's pretty big for them.
Welcome to mutually assured destruction. Yeah, 1 pickup is all you need at this point, apparently. That can just basically wipe 2 teams. What a disaster from both sides, though. That's an absolute travesty to happen at this point. Now let's look at what we've seen so far. Canada moving very close by towards Thailand. They have Korea on the other side. Team UK not far off on Australia in the north. A big cluster of teams around Minas Generales. That is going to be a very hot area to be towards.
Team Australia, who had a great day of 1 at one point, were in the top 5, have stumbled down to the bottom of the leaderboard. Unfortunately, just haven't been able to get going at all. Hello? That's not supposed to happen, Pansy.
No, it's really not. Okay, this now is a issue. Xenox, let's talk as to why. Look at these teams and look at these rotations. Germany is in a good position, but they're about to get crashed by everybody. I'm very surprised. I think most of the teams are. This has gone this far towards the east.
I think it should be noted as well, Phase 3 technically could go for a southeast hard shift over to the North Island. If that does happen, it does mean Phase 4 could actually finish on that island. It becomes a possibility. A very slight one, but it's there. It's available. But what this does for this current phase, it makes it basically 50% water, 50% land. It shrinks it right down. And you mentioned the teams that are inside of the zone. That's great. That's handy. But they, of course, are going to have teams coming in.
Yeah, Vietnam about to be getting very close by to Finland. This could be a very, very treacherous battle, and Finland have nothing to lose, which could be the dangerous real look for them, but Samti's been quelled. He may be overextended, but Korea and Canada very close by. Pio on the rotation, got to be careful. Moody is looking like he wants to engage. He's going to not get the tag. They get away with this. A small bit of information found, but Finland trying to make the play up here. Samti was in the middle of the road and got punished for that insolence.
Canada running a 2-2 split. Dangerous, especially when Korea are looming. When Thailand is looming. They are in a very dangerous spot right now. Levi's and Nim. Oh, that's a smoke.
Oh, it's a smoke. He's trolling us. He's doing this. These circles, these smokes, come on now. Revives come in. No harm, no foul, at least for now.
The map has actually started to spread out quite a bit. There's not a lot of teams that are actually contesting each other. Impala, Vietnam, and obviously Finland are still kind of close by. They're inside of that city. Down south, you've got America and Brazil. Canada still holding that 2-2 split, though. I think they're anticipating this is going to go back out to the west. Well, back to the Ashes.
I don't like to see it, honestly. It just hurts my heart because, look, this is a problem, right? Anyone who's ever been a fan of anything from the UK, you get your hopes up. You see the knock come in, you're like, oh, it's Luke. If anyone's going to go down, this gives them the chance. But wait for the fumble. It's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. Oh, Michael's going in on this. Is he just going to go for this? Is he pushing up? Wait, Godfrey's just going to nick that from him. Miraku's there as well, but this looks somewhat of a repeat. I feel like I've seen this before.
Yeah, third party from Godby, and China, unfortunately, will finish off Luke 12. Australia down to 3. You did say it was a repeat last time it happened. Australia 1 into the minivan they go. Insight and Vasily are going to vacate, try and get closer towards Zoid, mate. They're not grouped up. It's a 2-1 split for Australia. It might be a 0-1 split if they're not careful. But that's Zoid, mate, who tags back. Michael is low. He's knocked down. 1-for-1 trade. Zoid got Michael, and it was Bard who got Insight, but China get another one onto Australia.
No matter what the UK do, it feels like China's there just grinning. Look at these shots coming out as well. Mad 98 with a blinder. And now Australia's left in tatters. Zoid, mate, is going to have to get the hell out of Dodge. He knows this one's a bit of a lost cause, and again, another steal for China.
United Kingdom playing with their food. China gobbling it all down. They take all the kills there. And for the United Kingdom, look, I guess for them, fortunately, they're not in the top 5. They're not going to be battling for a prime position. But they still would have liked to get the kills onto Australia.
Just for the banter. We love a bit of the banter. Anyway, looking at this, we do have Chinese Taipei on Overwatch here between Finland and that's Vietnam just in the background. But here comes the circle. Ooh, it's still got a bit of water in it, but it is going to move it away from those islands. Thank you for the at least little bit of fun, and then you've gone and taken it away from us. Again, feels like, you know, Team UK, you get your hopes up, and then it all goes away. It
does make this next zone, though, phase 4 predictable. Of course, the water is going to be evaporated going into phase number 4, and so is Andy. Bahalaka also gets Rogi. It's a quick double
just
to the United States in the middle of the field. They're just driving by. Can he make it a third? Can he get RDNX? He hasn't quite had a fortunate time in vehicles over the last 24 hours, but he gets away this time.
Yeah, this time feels like the way to say it. The USA, though, lapping up those points in the south. But the teams who are actually on the outskirts right now, you can't avoid it. You have Russia, you have Thailand, Canada, and Korea all looking for the way forward. Rusty's there. I've got to be very careful here. You can see Milk wanting in on this Chinese Taipei, chomping at the bit. And again, Brazil needs to run away.
That's exactly what Rosti Zera does. Pushes back Brazil inside of the zone, but it's down to just Rosti Zera and RDNX. No kills for either of them. 3 nades still remaining for Rosti. Chinese Taipei starting to spread out just north of them. 4 of them starting to cover the rest of the area.
Oh,
and Zoid, mate, unfortunately has been hunted down by China. Now, he is a fragger, though. He is pretty good. He could get a 1 versus 3 if China are not careful. If they don't play this safe, they've got to respect him. But Zoid's put himself in a horrible position, and Godby doesn't respect him, annihilates him. Australia are out in 14, and Thailand might follow them.
And to Canada, of all people, if Drassel confirms that, that's a lovely pickup of points there for him. That's exactly what you want to be seeing. Break ahead from the other players and other teams in that 3-way tie. Here comes the push. Got to be careful. Korea going to strike now. They're moving away from this. They don't want that battle. Moody's nade could be big, though. Can he find the placement that he wants from this? I'm not sure if it's going to go far enough. No, and Thailand might need to disengage here.
Duckman is prone. It's going to be Thanawat who's running away. They actually run straight past that pickup truck. Duckman stays behind. Canada's still going to be careful. Drazzle, Moody. They are only 2. Of course, recalling back, they had that 2-2 split. That 2-2 split somehow is still in effect. Guys, you can group up. You can play together. What this means now is Korea's position. Look at that. They're now in front of both Thailand and Canada.
Very quick scouting from Korea as well. They're tentative on the first, and now they've actually got themselves a nice little area to go to, completely free of players. But Russia now, playing in from the north. coming down eventually pretty hard towards Team UK, who are looking over, watching towards China. I think that's where maybe a third party came towards Zoidmate eventually, or it could have been Japan. Pressure from everywhere, but China trying to make those points up if they can. Russia desperate to claim them.
China are 38 points away from Korea. Every kill is important if they can find it. Otherwise, they will run out of games. They will run out of time. This might be their last chance. They might need a 10, 12K sort of win if they're going to be able to stay in the hunt. As we can see Korea's current position, I'm expecting Southwest heartbeat onto Korea. Why not? It's been happening almost all the tournament. Oh, the opposite happens. Caster curse indeed.
Oh my, okay, Russia's back in the game here. If they keep 4 alive in this sort of position and they keep getting those points up, it's game on. Team USA, though, getting engaged upon. That's the USA trying to make their way through, but it's just RDNX left alive. Can he redeem himself? He's doing everything he can. He had an absolute disaster before, but his teammates are being picked up. Zampa, oh, RDNX, was he about to go out the window? Are you kidding me? Maybe just a peek. The nade comes out. He's going to try and buy time. He's looking for another escape here. He's looking for his wave to freedom, and he might just find it. Bahawaka on the other side, up close and personal. In Chinese Taipei, it was Bahawaka who went down. Finland in amongst it all. RDNX, he's fighting with everything he has to take down the USA.
He wants to redeem himself from yesterday. He might just be able to do that if he can find Zampa and finish him off. It would essentially be almost a 1 versus 3, the opposite of what happened yesterday. But we move back to Finland and Chinese Taipei, and Finland win this fight. It might be the end of Chinese Taipei and their race for the first place finish as well.
It's gonna get a little tricky. Wait, Moody just got picked up. That is a big boy shot. That's a 400-meter shot coming out from Miraku, excuse me. Moody going down there for Canada is a big loss. That's then down to 3, and they had a good approach to this, but Korea now getting into the fight. They're getting a couple of shots towards China, towards Vietnam, Thailand on the move. PO seen that, and PO is deadly. Uh-oh, Vietnam, though, fights on every front. Leo goes down.
2 kills for Vietnam, 3 players alive. Shippy moved into the zone, but he's just south of Korea, who have got eyes on both Vietnam, Thailand, and to a degree, they can also gatekeep Canada. The 3 teams that are right below them, the 3 teams that were tied coming into this game. Russia, a doozy, Uber, all up north next to the United Kingdom, and Reels is not going to survive that one from Uber. Knockdown, needs to finish it off with this next one, falls short of the mark.
It does. Does that get stolen, though? I'm not sure if anyone can see it. You can see Maluk already moving up for Canada, getting in towards position. Russia still holding the north. China in between them and the southern pack here. Germany still in the east, holding on to that eastern road. Miraku hits the deck and tries to stay alive. But here comes Inonic. Oh, no. Inonic's already starting to kick off here. They did get themselves into a nice position, and that could be a pickup. He tried to scout the next position, and now that's going to slow the roll from Canada. Yep.
Slow them right down to just 2 players remaining. So I guess in a way, that 2-2 split that they've been playing might come to fruition here permanently if they cannot find this revive onto Maluk. They have gone in for that recovery mission. They've gone right to the scope of Enonix.
And no one's got an angle on that. That's going to be a really hard shot to hit. K-Mind has to land an absolute blinding shot. Drassel's there as well.
Michael.
It's a very thin angle, but his teammates are bleeding out in the UK. You can see Michael. Oh, no. Team UK could ruin this for Canada. The nade. It's good. Oh, it doesn't get them. How is they still alive? The follow-up, is that any better?
No.
It goes too far.
Are you serious? The luck of the Irish might be the luck of Canada right now. They can turn around, potentially get Michael, but Miraku's got high ground and a pretty distant advantage. This time he lands it. Finally, it only took 3 times the charm. Maluk throws out the smokes. The pressure mounting onto Canada. It's 2 standing. K-Mind knocked down. But it is only his first knock, so he's not bleeding out that quickly. The smokes are up, and they kind of feel like the nades have all been used.
Michael's desperate to get in on this. He's going to be making the play. You can see him looking around the corner. He wants to find these points. A team with nothing to lose might be the most deadly at this point. Korea is chomping at the bit to get into this. They're looking for a way into getting those points for themselves as well. But for now, it looks like Michael's fallen off this, looking for a deeper angle to play with. While all this happened, RDNX did find Zampa in the end, but there we go. Michael overstepped. Russia got vision, and now he needs to fall away.
Sanya with the tag. Don't know what's going to be finished off actually by Udu. That's more bad news for Thailand. So far this game's certainly going in the hands of Korea. They're liking what they're seeing, but Canada. It's not over just yet. Still 11 teams remaining. 19 and a half minutes has gone. Drassel avoids the nade by the skin of his teeth. K-Mine and Maluk at the front line. Nade or smoke? It was a smoke, and K-Mine now knocked down by Enonix. The pressure still mounting onto Canada. They can't find a way out of here.
No, they're pinned in, and they're about to be absolutely brutalized. Team UK on the corner. Miraku delivers bullet after bullet. Maluk's gone down. It's looking like it's all gone wrong for Canada. Drassel left, trying to desperately hold on, and he does. Somehow he stays alive, and he might even be able to find K-Mind here. But does he go for the revive? The blue's on his back. He's going to have to make his mind up.
Yeah, he got the stick. He threw the smoke very quickly. It was a second knock for K-Mind, so he was bleeding out quite rapidly. Threw the smoke, got the stick onto the revive. They will get back up as South Korea now turn their attention away towards Vietnam, towards Thailand. Shippy's going to go down. It's Levi's who gets the knock inside of the smoke. And Thailand are starting to fall into pieces here in this match 2 of day 3.
Could be a huge moment here for Vietnam. If they get this cleanup on Finland, that's a boatload of points for Finland. Again, a deadly. These guys individually, you can't underestimate. Yes, they've had a poor performance, but you don't want to go into a 1v1 against Samti or Gemti or any of these players. Sapao has been a highlight player, but Pio there finishing off Shippy is going to be another big pickup of points against a team you desperately want to be doing that against.
This is massive for Vietnam. Thailand, Canada haven't quite been performing to what we saw from them in the previous game. They've got 2 kills, still 3 players alive, but they have to win this fight against Finland. Sapao spots Gemti, but he can't take his head off. He takes a bit of damage back. It's from Pio. Oh, he's on a mission right now. Only 1 kill. Sapao hits him back with a headshot of his own and just says, calm down, Pio. We'll fight you next.
And in all of that mess, we've seen some of the teams who are within that kind of cluster in the top 5 going down. Now Vietnam trying to hold on here. Finland does fall. It's Vietnam claiming the points. 5 kills in this game is good, but Korea are lingering in the background. A huge battle towards the top here. Japan wants in on the action, and Korea finally get eyes towards them.
I did say that Vietnam would see you next, Korea. Now they have to. Now they've got to push towards South Korea. They're coming in from behind. And obviously Korea are taking shots from the likes of Germany, the likes as well as Japan. Nade from Pio knocks Levi's though. They're going to turn their attention back over to Vietnam. It's the impending pressure. Pio with a knockdown to Sapao. Canada eliminated in 7th place as well. South Korea's Pio on 1 health. Nim going for the revival to Sapao. They need him. As Levi's is going to bleed out, they're down to 2. The spray close. So Pio, please give them a chance, give them a break. Nim, oh, he gets his head ripped off. And Vietnam are at 6. South Korea are pulling away.
They are, but Russia wants a word in this. Kemba from afar does find Pio. That's your superstar under pressure now. He does find some cover to fall back to, so there's a chance of recovery. But that's a big shot from way off in the distance. China still stands. Japan holds the middle. Germany towards the northeast. But Korea need to move forward, and they have a lot of attention looking their way.
Got a lot of work to do. Not much cover. Japan's center of the zone. Although a knockdown to depth from Udia. Russia, this is their sort of final say in all of this. They weren't part of that 3-way tie. They weren't part of the top 4. They were sitting in 5th, but not far behind. And now with this sort of performance, might find themselves in the top 3.
Korea trying to hold this lead, and there's so many coming for them, but they are looking so resilient. China in the middle of things, or at least they were. They are now out towards the west. Russia making the move up, going to make their way a little further forward here. Looking like they might find some engagements, potentially towards Germany, maybe just sharing that space in a symbiotic relationship for now. But it's Japan in the middle, holding center circle. Korea trying to salvage anything they can to move their way forward. The amount of fights they've been in, they've got to be broken and bruised by this point.
I think one thing that needs to be stated right now is the terrain that these players are fighting on. If you look at the map, it looks completely open. So many ridge lines and crevices that the players can hide behind. A couple of shacks as well in here. Russia moved forward, but look at that terrain. It's rocky, it's bumpy. They can hide behind defilades. It's not as open as it looks on the map, so that's why we're not really seeing these players get obliterated just yet. Internex though finds an angle. He finds Russia. If he takes them out, that's going to take them almost out of the race.
That's a 400-meter shot. He is banging out like it's easy. Now Brexco has found Uber. That's going to be a little bit of a steal, but he's not out of the game just yet. Korea wants in on these points. Yes, the knocks are good, but you want the confirmations, and that's what they're vying for.
And really for Korea, though, they want Russia out of this game. This might be the case where they're like, okay, we might not get the kill points, but if they're out of this game, that's even better for us. We're into the final 5 teams. The points, the placement points at this point are actually pretty hefty. They're pretty substantial. You don't want Russia getting 2nd and getting 6 points, or 3rd. You want them out right now. They've only got the 3 kills. And if it goes the other way, if South Korea get knocked out and somehow Russia go on and win this game, that gap shrinks further.
It does, but I'm looking at Korea's move here. They're looking like they want to move towards Japan, trying to centralize up because now they need to. Japan holds the territory, Russia towards the north, and Germany both need to work out a way forward, and China can watch that cross, but they also are not in the circle. I like Udeme Fire's position. He's trying to play a little bit of leverage for Germany, but Russia and Germany now in a very bad position. Korea looking for that engagement early to try and weaken the forces that greet them.
Obviously, Korea has been ignoring Japan because they can't see each other. As Korea starts to move into this next zone, I wonder if that will change, and if Korea then have to deal with Japan and start sort of lessering the pressure onto Russia. Obviously, Germany going to keep it up. Chris, though, coming to shot. Godby! Godby's been everywhere in this game.
Yeah, Godby might just bailed out Russia in this one, considering they were fighting that fight. Already Aduzi is towards a position, but we have in the meantime everyone moving closer. Inonix is getting their Aqua 5, finding Kemba. Everyone's looking at Russia right now, and they are suffering casualties. Aqua 5! Absolute precision from this man. The steal is there. Germany make the points, but still very big plays from Korea.
Russia down to 2 players standing. It's Aduzi and Senya. They're hardly even inside of the zone. Germany continue the pressure. China continue the pressure. But South Korea at some point are going to have to push onto Japan. Japan at some point, you got to do something. The nade goes in after shooting down the door. Smart play. Uber bleeds out to Aqua 5. 5 points now for Korea. Another nade goes in towards Japan. You can hear the crowd. They're anticipating this fight with Japan.
But look at the positioning now from Germany. They've adjusted very well here. This could cause a huge problem potentially for South Korea here. That's going to limit their cross. And look at Germany's attention instantly on the Korean boys. But can they fight it back? Inonix is further ahead. He's left isolated, but he's an incredible player, a scary player. He's found position. It's stim time, is trying to keep himself alive. Says is on the other side, but he's very quiet. He's tempered. He can't play out of this. Korea move forward. Germany are so close by to seeing this, though.
Says if they don't have his information, he could be the one that stops this initial entry from Inonix. Knocked down onto Aqua 5. It's Chris. But Loki should get the revive. It should be safe. Germany starting to push towards these compounds as well. They want in on the action. And it does give a helping hand to Russia. The pressure lifting off. They're down to just 2, Aduzi and Senya. And they're not sure exactly where to go. Senya with a knockdown onto December 12th, and now got beat knocked down by Sez. But might that give away his position to South Korea?
But I don't know if Korea can capitalize on that with Germany knocking on the door. The Eastern Front is here, and they have great vision. Inonix trying to spot that one out, but he doesn't have much of a hope in hell as Chris has the angles watched. And these are 2 heavyweights. If you see Inonix and Chris going head-to-head, that's a big one. Now, Senya did get the point against China there. December 12th will go to his pocket, but Mad98 is just weighing this out. He has nowhere else to go. He's merely going to try and hinder the others. And now Udeme Fire trying to find a deeper angle. Germany getting pulled back on! And it's Pio finding Chris. Could you think of a better battle? And here we go. Japan focuses towards the remainder of China. Germany moving closer, and Korea still standing tall.
Senya picks up the elimination, sends China out in 5th position. And Korea can't capitalize on the knockdown onto Chris. Kane going for the revive. Korea still need to continue moving up. This building that they're currently in is hardly inside of the zone. Udi knocked down by Senya. They're still looking for more points here. The Russians are not going to go down easy. They're not going to go down without a fight. They pick up another point as they eliminate Udia. It slows down Germany. Pio, though, knockdown, elimination onto Aduzi. Oh, he is just a god.
He is, but let's see if he can make it further forward. Inonix is holding this all together by the skin of his teeth. Japan are being denied any vision. Senya hits the deck, and now Korea move up. They're on the play. Look at those smokes. Says up above it, though. He's going to try and position well. Do they know this position?
Says,
have they counted for this one?
Have they counted for Says? He's the one that's behind them. You're right. One nade into that shack, and he gets all 3 members of South Korea. They don't know he's there, but he might not know their exact location either. That smoke wall was huge. I counted about 9 or 10 smokes all in. Oh, the Molotov! But it's not going to be able to get him. He's standing on top of the shelf.
Oh, he's so lucky right now, and they might actually write this off as being clear. That could be a misread. A very, very fatal one.
No, through the smoke, though. You're right. That might have been the information, the misinformation for South Korea. Seeing that smoke start to bloom and come out, though, they must know that there's someone in there, despite the fire. Senya's eliminated. Russia are out in 4th, and Pios comes to the forefront. He comes to the battlefield. Germany, Japan, and South Korea.
Wait.
Phase 9.
Sez is still holding this together. PO is still getting points. Now you're seeing Shinobi trying to get some sort of tag, some sort of damage. There's Brexco finding PO. So that's Korea now under pressure from Germany, and this is big pressure. They're working out there's two teams here. This is the information play, but here comes Japan. Here comes the pressure. Aqua 5 still stands, but the question is, for how long?
That was the ace up the sleeve that Japan had. It was Sez. He came around the back. He wasn't able to fully capitalize, probably as much as he should. Loki, he's keeping his attention focused towards Japan. The rest of Korea making sure that Loki's actually towards Germany, the rest of Korea looking at Japan.
Yeah, now Germany still hold the line. They can watch everyone in this leave them to try and battle each other.
Oh boy.
Brexco's nade.
This is it, one nade.
Is it in? Did it go in or is it on the roof? I think they're okay for now. They just about escaped with their lives. He doesn't know how close he just got. Now Loki is challenged with the task of holding back the German front, and he's done well. He's found one. That's a big pickup there. Depp is waiting. He knows Korea are not far. Brexco still thrown down, waiting. Here comes the play. He gets the spray on one, but he can't make any more of it. Japan still with 4, racking up the bodies, and it's all Japan.
5-kill win for Japan. It might not seem like a lot, but it is their second win of the PUBG Nations Cup. They'll be feeling confident with that. They played it so calmly. The composure that they were able to display in that situation with two teams surrounding them in Germany and South Korea. But the real story, Pansy, from this game is once again, South Korea do not get the win, but they get the points.
They get 9 kills and second place. You can't take it away from them. It seems like no matter what's thrown at them, they stand tall and they reclaim any sort of doubts. The crowd here loves them, and you can't blame them.
You would think that they just won the game. You would think that they just came first. This is still a team that after 12 out of 15 rounds has not actually picked up a chicken dinner at all. It's kind of bizarre. We're in bizarre land. But as you mentioned, 9 kills, second place. That's 15 points. That's basically actually the same amount of points that Japan got for winning the game.
Pretty much, you can see how good they are to make up for that. But again, Korea push back the other teams. You saw them all there, tied up in that kind of second to maybe 4th position. And now it's going to be game on for the others. Can you catch up, or is this Korea's tournament?
Make a big deal for him, trying to make things more difficult for Korea. But the way Korea's playing right now, I mean, the only thing that they haven't done is gotten a win.
The road to the finals starts now. 3 more games left, $500,000. The chance for Korea to be victorious and raise that trophy in front of the home crowd. For everyone else, it's a big chunk of change and a potential spot, an extra slot for their respective region at PGC later this year. Here we go then. Miramar's all said and done. James called it the green grassy pastures. Talk me through this playing path, Poro. What do we expect?
Well, for one thing, this is a more forgiving playing path than we've seen recently here on Erangel. We've been having these far west to east plains, but they've been a little bit farther south. This time going a little bit farther north. So a lot more of the northern part of the map is going to be open. We should see everybody be able to drop either directly to their loot spot or be able to find vehicles without having to compete too much.
Teetering a little bit more toward the south. It's not quite a Sosnovka plain. Anyone who likes to be looting further afield in the north, a bit more of a difficult task. You'd be looking for vehicles. Try and get your boots on the ground as quickly as possible. Get in the cars and get further up towards that pinnacle area. Home position in this one does speak volumes. We will be keeping an eye on this game. If there were going to be a potential of a hot drop, 1, we would see it definitely on the map building up, and 2, I think you see that towards the later stage of the game. You either go for the very final game when there's nothing else to lose, or you actually go the game before the final game, so those teams can't react. Those teams can't just as a backup plan, emergency backup plan, which we have seen teams do before, go somewhere else. And I'm going to say this now. When we sat in the back and we were talking about this game, we both said, I wonder if we'll get a millisecond.
I wonder if we'll get one. And
I wonder if we get one.
You know, and I was going to point out, you know, this is one of the times that we've seen no teams going for military, as we see Roji trying to get that vehicle. He does run into Vietnam. RDNX is going to provide him a little bit of support here from range. Basil should be fine. Everything should be squared away. But, man, that is going to make things difficult for Korea. As we see, they are still making their transition into South George just to get the loot process started here. Yo, all by himself, though. Look at that. He's got a friend.
Brazilians and driving. There's going to be a meme that rings loud in many people's ears for years. He did touch on the certain players that are just in the distance from PO. I don't think he'll realize that Turkey is lingering rather close. Ira, and if there's a man who can, we saw him yesterday with the 1 versus 3. Yes, they did stupidly position themselves in single individual formation and just approach him as single players. Germany, the second team actually to get onto Sosnovka Island. I do see a member of Thailand on the map. It's going to be Thanawat. He's there as well, just on the coastline, so certainly not in a strong position, so to speak. Germany will go Novo, load up. Looks like Chinese Taipei, they have the same idea. They'll grab the boats and get the hell out of Dodge. They want to work their way onto the island as well. Potential that they come from the south side. That is a big circle. Yeah. It does cut off towards the south. There's a hell of a lot of water in play here. The Finns, this time they actually get across the bridge without as much damage yesterday, getting ram-raided by the Russians.
Yeah, this was an interesting crossing for the Finns the last time, running in, losing 2 to the Russians early, but this time going to get all 4 across. Once again, though, Germany doing a early transition, taking that Novo spot, getting over there. They might have prio on radio tower, but this was them taking the initiative and getting over there fast. Last time it didn't pay off for them in the end, unfortunately. So maybe a shot at redemption here a little bit for the Germans.
Let me see. Chinese Taipei in the distance. You can see Chris is just rotating. Maybe he goes for an angle, potentially just going for different loot. I've turned up on the...
that is a very naked milk.
Yeah, imagine turning up onto the shoreline at range with a shotgun. I know Choke can do wonderful... Is he... Chris, you've fluffed it. You've completely and utterly messed it up, son.
Oh, no. That's okay.
You could see the idea. I mean,
yeah,
he's trying to get an angle, but...
I think that they, this will, I mean, if nothing else here, Chris now knows that Chinese Taipei has not continued their rotation, their wrap around, and they should know that they're right on top of each other. Brexco's going to find Shy Wei, and that is going to be a German going down quickly.
Follow-up nades there. Should be a confirmation, but it hasn't bounced too far. The problem, it did the damage, you could see. Yeah, gone. Okay, so they lose 1. Chris is out of the game, so essentially the last 2 are standing here in Nova. Russia. They have an eye on Canada inside the little garage. This is just on the opposing side near the beachhead. I'm assuming it's around Ferry Pier, given the area of the map. Maluk will hear the vehicle go away, but he doesn't. The one thing you don't want to be done here is baited. If you think, okay, the Russians have left me, look at this. A doozy's still here, so if he thinks the vehicle's gone, there's going to be no longer anybody here. If he steps out to this, Adoozy could have his way. Moody going to be the support act. They'll send this one across. They will see Ira in the boat, but more than likely leave him. If they go on top of this to try and get a point fair play, if he's got the scope and he's got the gun, he has. SLR can do the job. Plenty of bullets in the bag as well. 7.62, you hit them in the head, it hurts. Ira could be in for a face fault. Nope, he's good, he's safe, and he's alive for now. So Turkey, they can make their way across. The rest of his teammates, they are on the opposing side of Sosnovka.
It's essentially really screwing Canada over. We're taking the last boat available there in Primor, so now Canada has to decide whether they want to keep looking for another boat at the Ferry Pier location or try to take their chances with that western bridge. We can see the eastern bridge right now, China on top of it. And look, what do you have here? Let's share. What do we got? We got some treats, a little 4X, a little 3X. We got some 2X down there.
Korean loot sharing.
Yeah.
Look at this. Who wants sniper, boys? I'll take it. All right, here's a scope.
Somebody needed some. Apparently, the Loki didn't get the message that we're all bananas today.
Have a look at the players and people on the map from my side who's actually going to be late to this one. Vietnam, all 4 players split between Stalber and Severny. They are miles away from combat. Brazil, middle of the island, just passing Mansion side. Japan, they're actually in the water. They're in the eastern side, just coming past Milta Power. They've got to be careful because there is 2 teams still down in Nova. If they make landfall in Nova, unfortunately, they could die. Korea, they'll take the west side approach. Turkey is positioned on the west side of the cliffs on Sosnovka. So for Korea, it has to be a clean entry here. It will be devastating now. It'll be interesting and fun, but it would be devastating for them to get a 16th place placement. But it would even up that scoreboard and make things just a little bit tighter. The southern side of Sosnovka, it's completely clear for now, but we do have United Kingdom and Japan who have yet to make landfall.
Yeah, and as you said, Korea's still making their long rotation around the boat. They went to the south last time. They're probably going to do the same thing again. Again, Finland finding action early here. Right on top of them is the Russians. See the kill feed. Pome, that was on the western bridge. A little bit of a bridge camp going on here as a doozy, half health, has to pull back onto this. Tixu, a little bit forward for his squad. It looks like it's only 2 for Finland right now. The other 2 still down at the crossroads, just a little further north.
I don't know if there's anything we can take too much from this because it is the Nations Cup at the end of the day, but we do have 2 PEL teams essentially here. And when we look towards FaZe Clan and Team Liquid, this is where they like to go when we get these islands. When we get these circles, they do head towards these way in these compounds. When you have players on both sides of the coin, there may be some ideology there that they want to work this way, and they just happen to match each other up with the same thinking.
Right.
Mexi holds the angle. SLR 6 times. Tixu's going for an absolutely insanity run. The smokes do the job, but there's so much crossfire there. I don't know how he gets away from the backside. They've tagged him up. Jempty, if that was actually bait to draw fire and attention away, then that's a level 900 IQ player.
That's what it seemed like it was. There is Tixu's going to go ahead and just barely escape getting PUBG'd, essentially, as Yumpty has gone down now to Insight. We can see in the kill feed and flushed. We're checking out Chinese Taipei. This is all going on. Where are we? This is just south of Radio Tower here. We see United Kingdom has made landfall just to the south as we check back in with the Aussies, who have moved in behind the Finns while they were preoccupied with the Russian squad.
We actually might have an engagement here. Vietnam and Brazil, they're the last ones inside the circle. On the opposing side, the Eastern Bridge. We need to stay around this POV. You can see them up. Apparels having making a complete meal of it down there. They've heard the vehicle. They've got out. They're just standing and waiting. If Brazil know the information, though, and have heard the audible sound of the car, they could come through. Circle, hard shifts. It goes down south. The Koreans, they're safe for now, but it depends. Where does the play come from the teams? Generally speaking, you wouldn't want to play this backside. There are 2 compounds on the edge of Sosnovka, but nothing else really towards the beachhead. It then becomes a problem if you have to work your way into the central side of this circle.
The problem with these compounds that are on this southern side is they are very, very popular. Godby has already made his way down there, so this is going to be a lot of trouble here as you see Brazil now making their way across the bridge, leaving Vietnam behind. This could be an opportunity maybe for Brazil to maybe get a little bit of redemption here, try to hold out the Vietnamese, but looks like they're going to keep on going.
I suppose the reason that they're going for those compounds is because of how much water's still in play. Yeah. It has to come toward the island.
Yeah, absolutely.
Korea's just made landfall. Those 2 compounds that they would usually be gifted with, to be fair, open and free, have China and Turkey inside. Russia still on the, not on the back foot, certainly, but very aware.
I mean, these guys are in a lot of trouble right now. I mean, the 2 compounds that are right there have been fully occupied by Turkey and China, and there is just a lot of open ground here. They do have some they can play line of sight here, but this is not where you want to be if you're trying to make a play for late game.
Another team falls into the trap that the Aussies are trying to set, leaving these compounds open, turn up, and unfortunately might be one of the Brazilians turning out here. Udia will hold fire for now. He is a solo man. Needs to be... he doesn't know he's there. He's no idea. He's absolutely no way he does now.
OG trying to get the shots in with that AK spray, and not only going to land 1 bullet here, so it's down to just a straight 1v1. Roji out, and Udir may fire. He's going to lose it, but only just.
Pan him.
Oh, he's going to pan him.
Donk.
All right, Brazil trying to regain a little bit of their dignity with a little bit of showmanship there on the kill to Udir fires. We check in with Vietnam trying to make their way into the airfield. We can see the rest of the German squad scattered like ants. Looks like they're trying to make a play for these bunkers.
He's very close to actually getting outplayed there. You could see what the thought process was. He was looking towards the door of the shack, and that's generally where you think, okay, maybe they play off the back of that, but he wasn't. He was playing behind it, comes around, unfortunately loses the gun battle, does go down. Germany lose 1. We move across now. Chinese Taipei, they found Thailand. USA also found Thailand. This is pretty madness, chaos. Sampa, Valiate's dead. That's the confirmation. Duckman strikes again every single time. The man is a machine.
4 United States players there. They have an absolute wall of smoke built up. Pahawaka just barely surviving the explosion of that vehicle. But there's nobody there really preventing Duckmans from pushing onto that.
Pio has fallen. That may have been two from... We're trying to keep a track of this kill feed because it's going to get madness. Everyone on these rotations. Japan is in a head-to-head battle across the street. Brazil, they have the high ground. They rain fire from above. One of them's bleeding at the wayside. The grenades are there. Great Britain's here as well. So maybe Japan just get caught between a rock and a hard place. You'd expect them not to survive this engagement and that's only if the United Kingdom get a little bit overzealous and go a bit deeper. Once they crest this ridgeline, they'll see the fight, they'll be able to get involved. But can Brazil survive themselves? Many players are damaged. But where's the rest of Japan? They're trying to run. That car is in dire straits.
All right, we see the circle has gone north, and there goes the car, and there goes Japan from first to worst in the space of one game. Now Brazil in a lot of trouble here, having to make their way through the United Kingdom. We check in back with the USA. Thailand still putting the pressure on.
In the back lines, Korea has still been held at gunpoint, basically on the beach. China did steal one of them. PO went down, so they've lost their main man, their main fragger. But let's not count them out just yet. We've seen what they can do with 2 or 3 men. USA still, unfortunately, feeling the full force. Sharky answers back. There's one. He gets 2, but the overpeak's there. Shipsy now needs to seal the deal. And I'm sorry, Poro. I know you're a United States man, but a 15th place placement just won't do it.
The boys have been putting forth a great effort over this weekend, but unfortunately this time, the fight for the barrels, Thailand just putting on, just turning the screws, turning on the heat. They are putting forth a big effort here in this game number 3, trying to see if they can make a climb in the leaderboards. That's going to be a nice 4 kills going to that effort, though.
Chris with a long distance spray. The M4 is a weapon to be doing it with, especially if you've got the old stock and stick on it and the red dot. Hold the spray down and hope for the best.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Are we going to just feed them now?
No, they're already at the top of the board. Stop giving them points, for God's sake. They don't need any more.
I mean, in fairness to Brazil, you don't think that anybody, the full team, is going to be hiding out down there. I bet Korea kind of wishes they would have been able to get those 2 kills without having to explode the vehicle, because they are actually stuck right here on this beach line. As we now check in with Canada, they have an idea. Looks like they hear the shots coming from Finland. Finland completely unaware that they have some Canucks just below the hill.
Several stalemates across the board over in the west. Canada on top of the hill. Finland in the compounds below them. They can't really do too much. This is the fight we're speaking about. Excuse me, the compounds above them. They're on the deficit side of the hill. They can't be seen for now. Both teams trying to get a read on this. Further afield, Australia and Argentina basically holding each other directly at gunpoint from across the street. Turkey and Russia, same scenario. One player inside a hut. Russia just bunkering down between the broken bridge line, the ridge line, and the little houses. Germany across the board. And then actually inside military base itself, we've still got Thailand, Vietnam. And then on the broken plains, there's Chinese Taipei in the mix just to try and finish anybody off who wants to make that murderous run.
Yeah, this position that's being held currently by Finland, very, very strong spot, given this circle is, and if they get a little bit of luck here, and it looks like Samty might have spotted him out, but that's a lot of people right down your line of sight, as Drassel is going to get the down onto Samty, and now the Finns are aware. They're down to just 2 here, and look at that. This could be huge for Canada if they can clear this out.
The problem is the plane's split. Now, it might work if Mexi's position isn't given away. You need Tixu to make some sort of noise and draw their attention. Mexi's going down low. If he comes from behind with that scar, he could get a knock or 2. And then it's time for Tixu to strike. Tixu now needs to be the anchor point here and just be the nuisance.
Yes.
Maybe shoot a few shots, draw attention, act like you're in an engagement, do something.
Draw attention away from Mexi.
Well, that's
that
it.
Lowland flank.
If he knocks Moody now, that's the Overwatcher. That's the man in the back with the scope, potentially.
This is Moody's job, is to see this coming. He's holding it back there, watching that low line here. Oh no, United Kingdom trying to send it in. And they've got 2 to the vehicle. They've managed to stay alive for now, but Vard has been flushed out, and there is just nowhere to go.
Smokes in hand, ready to drop them where they need him. Moody actually found Mexi, good God. That's a Hail Mary and a half, and now it comes down to Tixu, the lone Finn. But really, what can you do against 4 Canadians that are absolutely feeling it in this tournament?
I mean, they have been playing phenomenally well. They started off a little bit slow, but they've turned it on big time here in the next couple of days, and that's going to be Michael going down to the Germans, and United Kingdom going out once again in 14th place.
Because of the caster, I think. UK caster, NA caster, and your teams have butchered it. Oh, well, it's one of those things.
It's fine.
We can still all keep hope in Russia and Canada. We'll just keep going.
Still rooting here. Summer has now spotted him out, and Loki's going to go down. That's going to be a quick and easy flush here for China. Aqua 5 trying to provide a little bit of support for his fallen teammate, but look how widespread Korea is on this beach line. Which,
to be fair, is the better play.
Yeah.
I understand why they're sending one person off there as essentially the sniffer dog, because this is such an open area. They don't have vehicles. They'll only have a limited amount of smokes, which they will...
Oh my God!
That's amazing! He just walked up to him and essentially just... He could have... This could be it! This could be one of their lowest placings yet. 13th it is. South Korea's gone. China gets the job done. All 4 players. Now, they have a huge lead in this competition.
Absolutely.
They did pick up 2 points thanks to Brazil running into them. But still, there is potential this could happen again. If they get another placement like that, the top of the table starts to get that bit more scary.
Yeah, this is... Okay, so going into this round, Korea had 29-point lead on Vietnam in second place. Vietnam currently still 4 strong on the north side. They have nobody really around them. Thailand kind of making their way in, but yeah, we have all eyes on Vietnam right now to see what they can do. And keep in mind, there's not a lot of separation behind anybody in that top 5. Everybody very, very close.
I'm intrigued to see if Vietnam and Thailand, if they engage here and they get the knock, they realize that it's both of those teams if they disengage from the battle and say, okay, that's another SEA team. We'll disengage from this one. It's not necessarily teaming, but we know for a fact that there is this spot on for Worlds. Let's see if this does proactively do it. I don't think they will do, because they're actually going to move away from this one. Sosnovka should be open for them. They'll have more cover from that hillside where they are. Coming down will be treacherous. You have Argentina. You have Australia. You have many teams that could see them from afar. But the circle is not favorable to either these 2 teams in the north.
Keep an eye on, we got Vietnam, Russia, Canada, Thailand, all right behind Korea there. All 4 strong here. As now India FPS has been spotted out. Brazil is going to get finished off. Godvi going to pick up that one as Ken Mert with the long-range mini 14 shots there. But yeah, we have, I mean, all the people that are right nipping at the heels of Korea, albeit from quite a distance. You know, this is exactly what they needed to have happen.
Vietnam, Russia, Canada, Thailand, they're all up there still. China down in 7th. As soon as you see Korea go down, you're thinking, okay, well, this is now open a little bit more. If you can frag out, if you can pick up 15 kills and a win, that's a 25-point game instantly. I mean, what would that do to the scoreboard? I'm not good at maths enough, but it certainly send them into the 100-point club. Tiksu down. Canada finally punched the nail in the coffin for Finland. We're into his top 10.
This kind of, you know, we were talking about it a little bit earlier. This position that Canada is holding right now, the highest possible ground in this circle, and they keep getting a little bit of favor here. They do have to be careful, though, as Vietnam is coming in from that north side. But they are staying 4 strong, making sure that they don't get flanked on here. As Thailand is getting wrecked here by Australia, Argentina, pretty much anybody here at this intersection. This is going to be a rough crossing for Thailand.
Vietnam, they hear the shots going off, and they think it's time to move. But unfortunately, Canada do have their number read. They know exactly where they are, and they're still keeping control of that hillside. Once the circle does move, if it's not a hard shift towards them, they will have to come down for the protection of that. But they have a good 30% amount of land, and that's why it's quite an important battle. Thailand still falling, unfortunately, to Argentina. One player has made it up close and personal. Pomate, his teammates bleeding out of the wayside. He knows at the door, he'll hear the footsteps. In we come. Gets the call, job done, bye-bye, and the res is there. Thailand is 10th.
Rough spot there for Thailand. They knew, you had to believe that they saw Korea going out in that kill feed early. See a reaching grenade here, maybe a little exploratory grenade. We'll be checking on Uba. He's gonna land the shots on SR, and Chinese Taipei is just pinned to this wall. This is the risk that you take by taking this position so early on.
And if he doesn't have any smokes, you can't get that res. He's a dead man. It's as simple as that. And I know he's got SR in his name and a K90 above his head. If he's a sniper by nature, I'm sorry, buddy, but you're doing nothing. Help me, I have no smokes.
Oh, here we go. This is the push that we were waiting to see from Vietnam onto Canada. Maluk is gonna go down. Oof. They're gonna trade him out immediately with Nim. And we have a 3v3 right now of players up. Canada eye on everything here. What's the... Oh, how did Sapao get behind him?
Oh my God, he went down low. This is what not needs to happen. You've got the nade on that one player. You don't want to fixate on that. If Canada gets tunnel visioned on this, Sapao is going to murder them.
There is no way that they're anticipating this complete wrap by Sapao. This is unbelievable. Here he comes. He's right behind him. Look at Moody. He has no idea, and he's feet from him. He's going to go down instantly.
You have to keep going now. You can't stop. If you get the flush, that's great, but you've been called out. Canada now knows exactly where you are. They'll have the vision shortly. Comes out, switches. That is a great response from Maluk. Puts the hammer down, but Nim, he sees them, he spots them. That's it. What a fantastic work for Canada to stay alive. They lose 2, but still, they're in the game. What a valiant effort. That sweep could have been fantastic, but I will say this, to be able to get that shot at that range with an automatic weapon is incredible.
A phenomenal idea from Vietnam. Extremely high IQ, but an even equally greater response coming out of Canada. They're landing their shots, they're winning their fights. Sure, they're only 2 up, but they're still in this thing.
Argentina still 4 alive, just outside the circle. Australia hold them. Not quite dead to rights, but certainly dead aim. That's 2 of them back to back. 1 grenade will seal the deal. How much do they have in the tank? Remember, we've seen players knocked already. They're committing to the reses. 2 of them in there. He doesn't have any grenades. He needs his teammates' support and help. Fails on the building, maybe. I was going to say maybe he backs off from this one with a barrel. Up close and personal, you're going to be laughing. That's going to be easy kills for days if they do decide to try and breach. The bleed out. So there must have been some kind of annoyance or tagging one of the players because they have managed to take one down. Inside, he's found 2 again. That surely is Argentina down to 1.
And look at this, Russia, they've had to push out of the compound to make their way over to this hill. Germany was unable to keep them from doing so. 1 down, it's down to just Kane. Can they get something off of this? Uba is gonna get taken out, and no, that's gonna be Germany getting flushed out. Senya should be able to get rezzed here, as this is now Russia having complete control over the whole southern side of this small circle.
Well, that's the bigger nuance of the grenades. When you put them down, it's not necessarily a smoke or a flashbang, but it's so disorientating, the noise, the ringing in the ears, the shaking of the screen, that you can push up like that. Throw a nade, get stuck in, drive it into them, and it's job done. They take them out. We're down to 8 players remaining, 3 more teams. Where do we stand? Okay, Australia, one side of the map. They should be pushed out with this next circle, you would assume. Let's see where it goes. Does it fixate to the center? Yes, it does. Russia, 4 up. Canada, 2 alive on the hillside. They have to come down. That protection is now gone. They're inside the circle, but that's as far as they can really go. The largest amount of work that has to be done here is by Australia.
Yeah, Russia, I mean, they've got the numbers advantage right now, but they're in no means secured in this victory. They are playing from some really poor positioning here. Canada, obviously with that high ground spot, they can keep their information flow in check. They could come out on top of this. They could pull off a miracle.
The one thing I want to point out here, and we are trying to build a story of how this all could potentially unfold. Korea, they went down early. What was that, a 14th place placement? Only 2 points. You're now looking at 2 teams here in the form of Russia and Canada. Coming into this match, they were 3rd and 4th.
Yes.
This is what needs to happen. The teams at the top need to do well. Your number 1 spot needs to do bad. This is the perfect scenario. Another game like this, and it literally is game on for every single team in this competition.
Everybody hear about these 2 teams of roughly 30-ish points behind Korea. Russia already with 8 kills, Canada with 6. Can they add to that total? Can they bring it up to close to 20? That is a huge, huge jump to pick up on the Korean lead.
All quiet on the Western Front for now. Drassel looking for a pick. He's a marksman who can. We've been watching this boy since he won Gamescom 2017, all the way back in the day. He's an absolute marksman with a bolt action. He can do wonders with this.
Oh, the spray from Senya. He's going to find one in the smoke inside. Going to try to make his way up. He gets taken low now by Uba. Can they find off the kill here? What is Canada doing here? Canada actually going to steal the kill. That's going to be one going over to there.
So they went for the point.
7.
And they went for the play. That's fantastic. That's good. The only other thing they could have done were maybe third party into Russia and take away some utility, take away a manpower from them. Because now they're stuck on a hillside.
Well, right now, look how spread out Russia is. This is how they need to be, given the size of the circle. They do have multiple lines of sight on this. K-Mine going to pull that vehicle to a stop. But this is rough for Russia. If Canada can find a way to maybe snipe somebody here, Drassel, the sniper from North America, pulling out that DMR. He's going to get Senya. There's no way that res comes through.
Uber's getting close, though. He's lurking, looking to play spoiler. One grenade will get the job. The grenade follow-up could be real. He's already weak. It's in, it's cooked, it's primed. Bye-bye, K-Mine. And now it comes down to Drassel. What can he do? What's in the tank? What's left? He's still with the SLR trying to get a clip, but when you've got 3 angry Russians, okay, he's going to go to the blue. This is fine. I'm okay with this. This is absolutely fine. When you know it's Russia, when you know it's them, that's the better play. You're trying to get above them. He's just essentially taken a point away from them. But let's not take anything away from Russia. They are the winners. They pick up a chicken dinner in game 13. That is huge. They were third coming into this. Korea, they went down early. This competition, Poro, just got a little bit more interesting.
That's 20 points for Russia. They came into this game with 84. That's going to push them up to 104. Keep in mind, Korea came in with 115, should be sitting at around 117. So that gap that Korea had built over the 2 games on Miramar has now shrunk dramatically.
You could see what the backup plan there was. I almost touched on it a little bit. I genuinely thought at first both of them may commit to the blue and just deny the points. The vehicle was put up against the white. That was supposed to be the emergency buffer. I just don't think they realized how close Uber was to get that grenade in. But there was going to be a time where both of them could have just said, hands up, we can't win the scenario, we'll deny 2 points, we'll give it up to the blue. It's a specific play. It's calculated, it's precise. That's us all here.
Pushing so hard for Duckmans here lately, but it seems like he keeps taking down North America. But I want to see another standout performance, and God, I just love that AR coming in. As you see the plane just coming right out of the screen there. I just cannot wait as we are moving our way into match number 4 for the day.
Oh boy, this is going to be an interesting plane path.
This plane path going over the canal right north of military base. This is going to make it really interesting coming in with these first couple of drops. Again, we talked about it. These are kind of voted in players. These aren't consistent teams. So with this, new strategies are going to have to play. And when you get a plane path like this, trying to capitalize off of it and figure out where the safe place to drop is going to be mind-boggling hard.
And for teams like South Korea and Vietnam who like to go to the northern half of the map, this presents a challenge. You don't want to get caught out trying to get vehicles early on. You cannot lose a member here.
Looks like USA is choosing to go back down towards the military base. That's been a reoccurring theme, as well as, I have to say, mean plane paths into cruel circles. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see some nice, crazy rotations having to come in fairly early. Also, something to keep an eye on is a couple of these teams might be hunting down a couple of points and be a little bit more active towards the early stages of the game.
Yeah, it seems like aggression is paying off. The kill points are really what are doing it for these top teams. They're really getting it done on the backs of taking fights and winning them. And this guy right here, Uba, is absolutely on fire today.
He has had an amazing series. Today specifically, he has just been absolutely showing up. A couple of long-range shots coming in there, all right. So circle, where are we going? Are we going up next to Georgia Pole, Stolber? That's the way I'm looking at it right now. It always seems to go that way. No, okay.
Wow.
Pretty comfortable plane path, but now the big choice for these teams is, do they go towards Military Base Island? Do they go north or south? Because that is going to be a big factor.
Most of this circle is in the north, so usually when you have this situation where you've got Sosnovka Island kind of on the bottom edge of the circle, you're talking maybe 60-65% that it stays north. Not as likely that it goes south, but it absolutely can. So what do? Do you do a 2-2 split across the bridge? Do you do something like that? I've seen that from teams, but you have to hedge your bets, but sometimes you also got to roll the dice.
There's our boys from Canada making the push back over there. You can see a little bit behind Korea right now, but a couple of good games. We have seen 16 kill games inside of this event so far. Naturally, couple that in with the super settings and getting your 10 points for your victory. You can catch up to Korea at this stage. They were getting that lead, but that last game really kind of threw a wrench into what was going down.
Yeah, they're still in it. They're 100%
I mean, they're
still
in first right now.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, sorry. Of course. But, you know, they're ahead, but these other teams are scary good. And what are you going to do? You know, if you have a situation where this goes Sosnovka Island again, and you're Korea, you got to find an answer for this. The 2 times we've gone to Sosnovka Island, you've basically been blown out of the water.
China has dropped and is going back over towards shelter. We don't usually see this get a lot of attention in competitive. So a nice little modification coming into play. I would venture to say has something to do with the plane path that we saw. So with this, they know that they've got a little bit of a safe place to play at. Where's Summer hiding up at? Okay, he's just on the outside of this, just controlling around. Probably he's going to be their man that's going to feed over any information if anybody's driving around the location. But I wouldn't be surprised nobody's going to mess with them down.
No, I think they're pretty well okay here for now. The Aussies might have to cross their paths as well as Brazil rotating into this circle, depending on how it plays out. I find it kind of interesting that Vietnam has gone to Lipovka. Normally they're a Severny team, but because of this plane path, they ended up, and because of the circle as well, they're going to have to go to Lipovka. We'll see how that plays out for them because they're a team that is still in it as well. You can see they have 89 points right now. Not super far behind Korea. It's not undoable.
Here we are looking at Turkey with Sixmo. Rest of the team here following back behind him. A beautiful death as well as Mert and Iroh. But it looks like Finland's looking back over towards Australia, taking a couple of shots off of it. But Jimty is just waiting, being patient. Zoidmate does get dropped. Mixie hits a nice shot and goes ahead and follows that up. Gonna take him down. And instantly moving back over the motorcycle. That's just a kill and get out. Appreciate the points. Actually, a push back down to one side of this. This looks like they might be separating out and going for those early points we were talking about.
Yeah, I think Finland really needs to get aggressive. It has been the name of their game. It's what I think would play to their strong suit as Slayers here. You can see they're rolling up. Maxi's getting in on it. Does not land the shots onto Luke.
So with this, you can see Luke is on full damage control right now, just trying to peek back behind that corner. Mixie's doing the push onto one side of it. Meanwhile, Samty's going around to the other side. You can see the rest of Finland is just showing up right now. Luke, what can you do inside of this situation? You are in a world of trouble as grenades are just raining down. That was a little bit of an interesting one going up and over the top of it. But now Luke has a very strong angle he's played. Hold the side of it, trying to get some damage off. Does manage to go down inside of it. The follow-up goes through. Lots of damage back on both sides. But let's be real, Luke, you're a dead man.
It looks like the other two members of Australia are not going to try to follow up on this. I could see Vasily and Insight are still over in the school in the apartments, so you can see them right now. They are opting to get out of here. I think this is the wise play. You've already lost two members to this really aggressive Finland push, and I like this by Finland. Clearly they went back after a match and saw a pattern in Australia in a way they could capitalize onto this and get these picks.
This is more of what we were expecting from Finland. They've been having a rough, I would say, 3 days at this point. They haven't necessarily had the best of showings, but more life today. Problem with it is, it just feels like it's way too late to be influential.
Yeah, at this point, they're pretty much, you know, they're not out of maybe jumping a lot of spots, but there's no way they're in competition.
They don't want to be last, is the thing right now. I mean, we keep talking about the top of the leaderboard and who's going to win it, but nobody wants to be the country that comes in last. National pride will be very hurt in this situation. Oh my God, Brazil. Always finding somebody inside of rotations. RDX taking a lot of damage there. So how is he going to make it away from it? Yeah, he's going to make it back down the hillside. Should be pretty okay as China just manages to scare him quite a bit.
Yeah, RDNX is acting as the scout here forward with that motorcycle, a really useful tool when you're doing recon. And like I said earlier, China was already set up to put up picks on these teams that are trying to rotate in through the north. That forces Brazil to back off and reassess how they want to approach the circle.
A little bit of scouting going on, as you can see where everybody is set up right now. Korea made their way over towards Georgia Pole. You can see Turkey is already on the move back over towards the west, but just about everybody else is inside the circle as of right now. USA is still opting back down towards military base and being the only team to do so at the time.
Yeah, they're being cautious here. They're hedging their bets, and I think this makes sense because they dropped the military base. They can benefit the most if this does indeed end up going south. Russia's up on the northern end of the bridge as well. Not really in a gatekeeping position or a bridge camp position, but they could prove difficult to rotate through if the circle does go north.
Man, Finland has been on the move. Keep in mind, we just saw them hunting down a couple of people, now making their way back over towards Pachinki. Canada looks like they're going to play the hill just towards the south of it, and that's a very interesting spot because you can catch a lot of people in rotation depending on how these circles play out. They've got the fields that are around it, and it's a very strong position to play from just in general because you yourself can rotate out in several different directions.
And you could get so much recon from that position.
My God.
You could see so much of the map. A lot of times you'll see teams from Pachinki go there pretty quickly in circles like this, but because Finland went up to fight Australia early, this allowed Canada to take this advantageous position.
Trying to take a couple of shots back over towards United Kingdom. Looks like Bard's going to be on the receiving end of that. Going to take nothing too terribly scary right now, but Germany looking back over towards, looks like it's going to be SR over there who doesn't even know what's going on. Damage is going to come through, but the down is not going to happen as he's managed to make it back behind that tree.
Some ducking and diving there by SR to get out of the way relatively unscathed. He took a little bit of damage, but nothing critical there, so it looks like he's going to kind of get out of here. You know, Chinese Taipei is a team that was playing really, really well the first 2 days, but so far today, Matrim, not much going on there.
Milk has had some phenomenal plays. That motorcycle jump onto the top of the building to get those kills off, my lord, it's been phenomenal from him. But here we go, Brazil on the move, looking where they want to go. Looks like Japan might be opting into a similar position. Depp has had himself a couple of nice kills so far today, but I think that Brazil's just going to play the lower part of the hill and just actually cut right in between what could be a very dangerous situation. Is Japan going to have the angle back over towards us as Rogi does stop right over here at this Wizard Tower, getting a little bit more information for his teammates and forces it back inside there. Rogi just gets dropped though.
Depp with some excellent shooting there with the SLR. Drops Rogi, looking to do some more work, shooting at Andy FPS, but nothing really landing there as the other members of Brazil are forced to get out of this situation.
There's nowhere for them to go, really. They can potentially make it back over towards farm, but there's going to be a lot of people that have sight lines back towards them. Rusty Zero's just trying to make it back down the hillside. Circle has popped, and it opts up towards the north. Everybody that's centered up around that location is in a very favorable position, but you can see everybody on the outside is in a world of trouble.
I mean, this is a really difficult situation. This is about the worst circle possible for USA. They are going to have an interesting time doing this. It looks like they're heading east now. I'm not so sure about that. Taipei, though, is in the circle. They dropped Milta, so they've opted to post up on the western edge. And now you got Brexco trying to take some shots at them as Leo's getting in his UAS, but it looks like he's going to be okay.
Oh, no. I don't flip up.
Okay.
It's okay. That's why they have the roll bars across the top, right?
Yeah.
So perfectly fine there. But Finland still on the move, found themselves a new home that they're going to position up at. Kind of looking around, seeing anybody's going to be rotating around them at the time, but I think that they're pretty okay. They're back towards the western part of this new safe zone. Korea now on the move, going to opt into going up around the northern part of the circle, and this is no surprise. This is the way they like to play things. Slower rotations at the start, gather information after them, make their initial drop, and then kind of figure out where they want to go next.
Yeah.
They like to fight, let's be real, but they like to fight with information, and that's the strong part for it. Meanwhile, Canada having a couple of pot shots thrown their way.
Now, it looks like Canada should be relatively okay here. Pretty confident they'll be able to get past Finland here and wrap around. Now, in the meanwhile, up north, Korea might be running into Australia as Australia had to back way off because of pressure from Vietnam here. Now, remember, Australia lost 2 members early on, so there are only 2 people left here, and Pio's going to try to do Pio things, take some shots, but okay. I was wrong. Sorry.
Yeah, discretion's a better part of valor
he shoots
sometimes.
At everything.
He does, but that time the trees were in the way, so I mean, if you're a duo at this stage of the game already, it's not like you want to bump into Korea in any form and fashion, so trying to get away from that, no surprise there. So, Korea up towards the north, not a lot of teams really around them, just a couple of pot shots going back and forth between them and the Aussies. The Aussies have to be a little bit cautious, but Japan is still on the move, taking a couple of shots back over towards Leo, I believe. So Depp's on the one side of it, got to be very, very cautious. He's kind of overextended out. Asus is on the other side of this. I don't think has a sightline for it.
Yeah, this is a really interesting move here by Japan. They're doing a really big 2-2 split here. Not something we've seen from them a lot. Usually they're sticking together as kind of a 4-man and working together, but trying to get a little aggressive here.
Turkey, you might not like where you're going right now. You see Ionix looking back down there, popping out a couple of windows, just trying to see if he's going to maybe hit anything off of it. 6mo still driving around right now. And it looks like Korea's just going to opt into the move, as well as Finland. You can see a lot of these teams already opting into early rotations, hopping inside their vehicles at close to the time that the circle comes down. But here's the problem when you do that. Milk just narrowly dodging out those shots. Does slam himself right into that table, but he should be safe now.
How do you land those shots? That's such long range on a motorcycle. He is so good.
I just don't even question it anymore whenever this happens. Oh, Ribox might find himself in a little bit of trouble as everybody from Finland just dancing around the inside of this building. I do like this little cheeky reposition that he's got, but not a lot of reinforcements from Argentina are in a spot to really help him. But
yeah, it looks like they're trying. It looks like Pome's close enough. He's maybe going to try here. But the other members of Finland have already taken up this position. But I don't know what he can do here without assistance from his team. It's going to be really hard for him to leave this facility unnoticed.
At this point, he just pretends to be a box. He's perfectly fine where he's at. Hopes nobody looks over there. Another fairly centralized circle, going to make a little bit rough for Korea. Still going to have to continue through. Aqua 5 is inside the circle, but USA also going to have a little bit of trouble making their way through, finally leaving military base. Russia's right on the edge of this, but Canada in a good spot. Looking back over towards Potato Mountain, might get a couple of shots over there, but nobody from Finland has any idea that Ribox is here.
Yeah, they did a good job clearing the facility. Of course, you got to check everything when you bomb into it.
Everything.
Not everything. Okay, not everything. Almost everything. And our solid snake player here is just waiting, like you said, be in a box for now.
Look, that yellow jacket's going to show up big for him right now. He just blends in with the crates back behind him. It's like, I'm one with the box. Everything will be fine. Turkey making their rotation back up that hillside. Looks like they might bump into Vietnam if they're not too careful. Nim might have a sight line back over here. And uh-oh, Sapal already going to be in position. This could be bad for Turkey. Spray's going to come through. Jumps back out right in front of Nim. That's going to be one down to get this started. You can see a little bit of position coming up from Beautiful Death, but he's going to go down as well.
Sapal once again with another big kill. Cleans it up, does Nim for them here. And 2 big kills here early on for Vietnam. They are very much still in this. If they can have 2 big rounds, this is a good start for them. Iro, the lead fragger for Turkey, throwing some smokes, trying to set themselves up a way to get out of this disaster.
Canada's just on the other side of this, and they can hear these shots. Look like they might be going for a little bit of a position. We'll have to see how Iro makes his way up, because he's right along the side of that, and yep, Luke's going to go ahead and spot him out. Now that's just down to 1, and it's going to be Mert, as it looks like Vietnam's going for a reposition of their own, as a lot of people seem like they want to join the party.
This could be a big moment here for Team Canada. They do get the confirmed kill onto Iro, but them and Vietnam, both in the top 5 on Potato Mountain here, vying for control of that very valuable real estate. Will they fight over it, or will they wait this one out?
So Mert makes his way down. Looks like he's safe for now. I don't think that anybody from Canada has a sightline for it, but Jimty on a little bit of a move. I think that he saw him making his way down the hillside, so Mert might not be alive for too much longer. Meanwhile, United Kingdom's woes continue as they get into a fight with Japan. It's a little bit of a back and forth exchange right now, but sees, is he going to be able to spot out far? Gets the shots back over towards it, and there you go. United Kingdom is eliminated first.
That was quick, but Korea also has the angle here. You can see Pio out on the far edge of your screen, trying to get some shots onto Gaba, but not much damage being done there. Gaba's going to try to get into this Dacia and get out of here, and Pio's not able to get those mini 14 shots to connect.
That's a very rare situation, but he is managing to connect back over onto the car, doing a ton of damage. Japan just has to abandon it, trying to make their way up the hillside, and narrowly survives Pio.
It's okay, that fire doesn't hurt, so he can lay down, heal up here, but there's only a couple members left here for Japan. They got in the crossfire.
And they lost all their vehicles. That's a big problem moving into these rotations, as Korea is unrelenting. Are they just going to continue and follow through with this? They know they have the potential to get the kills off of it. So slow and steady on the hunt. New circle does pop. Got a couple of Korean members inside of it. Really favors China right in the middle of it, as well as Thailand, Germany, Argentina, Finland, and Canada.
Yeah, it looks like Japan has managed to find a vehicle, so they are able to escape. Anonix was creeping up on them there. That's what Anonix and Pio like to do. They're able to
reinforcements
out on their own. Oh my goodness.
Argentina's finally coming through. Ribox is getting some damage off, gets the down and the flush onto Jimty. Looking back on the other side of Mixie's coming down, and he's gonna get the down onto Ribox. But here it comes everybody from Argentina.
Argentina did end up coming through. It took a while, but now they're here, but they lost their teammate in the process. That fight looks to slow down, but Leo gets taken down by Canada.
Drassel just saves Maluk's life right there. Nice shots coming out from that. I think he should be able to get the res pretty easily. Looks like Argentina did the damage that they wanted to do, and now making their way out of this, but there's nowhere really easily for them to rotate out towards. Chinese Taipei looks like they're still wanting to make their way up this hillside. Moody, again, in that overwatch position, trying to provide a little bit of cover. Gonna get the down onto Drassel. That's really big. Now it's just on to K-Mind, and Moody looking back over towards Taipei, trying to figure out what they're gonna do here.
Gets a couple big shots onto Chai Wei there, but Chai Wei has to back off because of that. Drassel's still knocked. We'll see if they can find a way to get this res, because Drassel is way out there on an island. K-Mine here trying to provide shots on Milk, but no! Milk gets the headshot.
That is absolutely huge. Remember, this is our third place team right now, already down to just one member. What is Moody gonna do? He realizes it's too dangerous. He has to stay alive. He needs those survival points. Meanwhile, look at the flood of people just charging up there. They want these points.
Taipei playing the spoilers here, taking Canada down 2 members already. It looks like, yes indeed, K-Mine does get taken down as well. This is disastrous for Canada. They needed to find a way to get some big points in this match to stay in this, and it looks like they might be in a desperate situation.
Don't worry, Sharky. No one saw the fact that you probably just flipped a motorcycle in there. Oh, and there we go. Australia's insight gets taken down, and now their whole team is eliminated. So looking back over towards this, Moody's making his way down the hillside. Remember, just a solo by himself right now. Russia, meanwhile, in a good position. Kind of got a good sight line back over towards this, and I believe that the reses did come back up, and yep, Sharky's back for USA. So on the motorcycle there, always dangerous vehicles, those motorcycles.
Still a big game as well for Thailand. They're very much in this. You can see them set up on this hill to the north of Russia here. And, you know, they really need to do something today. They played so well coming into today. And it hasn't just been Duckmans, it's been a lot of Duckmans, let's be honest. But Shippy, Minero, the other guys, Tanawat, they've been quite good as well. And when their teamwork is on point, they're one of the scariest teams we have.
I mean, we keep talking about Korea, Russia, Canada, because they're the top 3 right now. But Vietnam and Thailand are still in striking distance. If they have 2 really good games, which these teams can do, that can move them up into those good money positions as well. I mean, we talk about money, but let's be real. A lot of this is national pride for a lot of these guys that are playing inside of it. They want to be considered the best country in PUBG in the world.
100%. You want to put your region on the map. You want to put your country on the map going into the Global Championship later this year. And we'll see who will end up coming out on top today. Thailand definitely still in it. Vietnam as well. 100% still in this. But we got a battle breaking out between Russia and America.
Russia's taking a couple of shots back over towards them. New circle does pop. Going to be to the north where we're watching this present fight at, and that's one that could be why North America's going to go ahead and start making a push back over towards this. A lot of damage coming out for Russia. Sharky does go down again, narrowly making it back over that hillside. Zampa's just trying to get away. Valiant loses his vehicle and takes a ton of damage off of this. Looks like they're just going to try to regroup down in this little divot and hope that they can survive this, but that is a lot of damage, and Russia just has a sightline on them.
And now Finland's trying to capitalize on this. You can see Mexi coming up on USA's flank. They are completely surrounded in this gully. In fact, it's Argentina as well getting in on this. Valley 8 is down.
One grenade coming up from Mexi. This could be it. USA is going to take a world of hurt here, and there we go. They lose everything off of it. USA is out.
What a great grenade from Mexi, but USA caught between a literal rock and hard place. They go down, but now Mexi's getting shot by Stilson from Argentina.
Argentina has a great sight line, really high up along this. We constantly talk about this as Death Road. If you're along this road on the northern part of it, it just continues on, and you have a great sight line back down into this valley where so much death could occur. Russia, though, slowly starting to make their way back over there. Remember, they were taking a couple of shots back over towards Finland as well. They still have Thailand up to the north of them, but can manage to get right on the edge of it. Meanwhile, China capitalizing on those beautiful sight lines as Brazil does lose one of their members there. Looks like pretty quick flush going to come out as well. So now Russia kind of being gate-kept out right now.
China doing a great job here defending this ridge from Brazil. This is such a difficult position for Brazil to be in. You've got the low ground. Yes, you have some smokes for cover for now, but those only last so long. And here we go. Andy is going to try to push up here, but back over to Russia, who is going to be getting engaged in a huge, huge battle with Thailand soon.
Brazil's trying to make the push back over towards China, but they are just not going to allow it. Rusty Zero's way back in that line, trying to figure out how do I even breach this. There is absolutely nowhere to go. He has got to hit a down. He has to find some type of opening in this defense that China has set up, but he just does not have any type of clear sight line.
Yeah, there's just not much they can do there, but Kane's getting over in on this as well, putting a few pot shots over into China there, not really connecting with anything, backing off. Uba taking some damage in transition, but Rusty Zera is all but dead here.
I mean, he's out inside the blue. This thing's going to hit for a ton. Looking back over towards Summer, maybe he can get something out of this, but doesn't connect with it. Maybe the grenade. At this point, he's as good as dead as Korea is now coming up back behind this. They hear this fight, and they want to get involved. That's the whole thing in this position. You want to get in those third parties. So the longer Rusty Zera actually survives is just going to set up Korea to get in a great spot to actually start tearing apart China there.
That grenade barely almost didn't take it down, but there it is. Summer goes down with a great grenade from Inonix. Korea pushing in here on the Chinese players.
As well as Germany. Right now, China is pincered between 2 different teams. Korea stepping back onto this, realizing, okay, we don't want to go into this yet. We want to go for a position towards the circle, so goes back towards their play points. Meanwhile, it's Chris right up in the face of China, but how is he going to disengage from this? You can see Germany has the inside track on defense, but China can use the high ground to their advantage and just play along the road.
This is really interesting. Korea has backed off of this fight with China and Germany, opting to play safe. They want to go for points. They want to get every precious point they can to secure their first place.
So Germany's going to go ahead and pull back off of this, separate out a little bit more. Still in the information gathering process, trying to find those good positions to play at. Meanwhile, Chai Wei's looking back down towards this, a little bit of separation coming through Argentina is in a good spot, but you can see a lot of people starting to try and make the push back up this hillside. Russia looks like they might be thinking about trying to take this territory. Korea's kind of separating out just a little bit, but might bump into SR or Milk at any second now.
Yeah, they're closing up on Potato Mountain here. The three members, excuse me, of Chinese Taipei set up on the top here, but the blue is coming in and they're getting forced out. Pio trying to do some damage. Not much going. Chai Wei gets taken down. What an insane play by Pio.
Pio is just turning up at this event. Chinese Taipei has nowhere to go, but here we go. Grenade's gonna pop off, take down Pio. Now what's Korea gonna do? The blues coming in back behind them. I don't think that they're gonna be able to get over towards them. So now Aqua 5 is thinking about it, but can he make it in time to get this res? Narrowly gets it.
Oh my God, are they gonna pull this off? SR is prone down. The other members of Korea trying to buy as much time as they can. Milk looking over the wrong side. There's nobody over there from Korea yet.
He got it. He got the res back over towards Pio, and look at this. Korea's looking on these angles, trying to figure out, okay, how do we go off of this? Narrowly pushing right ahead of the blue, trying to find those angles for it, but it's kind of vulnerable off these sides. Everybody has sight lines back behind them, looking back down towards China. Meanwhile, SR realizes they need to go back into the circle themselves. A couple of shots going out, gonna push them away. Korea looks like they decided to separate out and actually play two different angles. They have to be careful about this because that makes them extremely vulnerable.
It's a vulnerable hill, but nice headshot there from Inonix onto Godvi as they're pushing over towards China up on their left-hand flank. Meanwhile, on their right, it's Loki and Pio. December 12th trying to return the favor on Aqua 5, not able to get the knock.
Somehow Korea is still alive through this. Pio's looking back towards this. Loki's taking a little bit of damage, gonna just go ahead and huddle back down behind this tree. But Pio has some people in the sights, and this guy is never afraid to fight. But look at Milk. He's in a great sneaky little position off to the side of this. He could pop up at any given second and do so much damage to Korea.
Oh no, Pio gets knocked here by Mad98, so two members down here for Korea. Will Chinese Taipei opt to try to capital on this? For now, it seems like they're content to just lay down and try to wait this out, but SR got knocked. Milk gets the kill here.
Steps up, takes the shot, perfectly fine with it, retreating back, and now Korea is in a world of trouble. Just down to two. Milk looks like he's thinking about going back over towards this. Does he want to make the push back into this smoke? He's playing along the outside of it. At this point, it's just listening for footsteps, trying to figure out where to go. Korea hears him move in, but the shots come out from Milk, and there we go. Korea is out.
Milk playing the spoiler here, taking down Team Korea in 8th place. A big, big play there from Milk.
Now we've got Russia making the push back over towards this. Gonna go ahead and throw the grenade out. Is he gonna be aware of it? He managed to get the reposition on the outside of this. So Uba, we've talked about this guy can murder, but don't forget about Duckman's repositions now starting to come out. Flanks around both sides of it. Gotta be very, very cautious on this push.
This is a huge fight here. Tanawatt does have that AUG, but Uba is trying to get onto him with that AK here. Aduzi did get knocked by Minoru early in the fight. Meanwhile, Uba's gonna have to heal up himself while they try to get the res onto the last member of their team.
So Duckmans is not in the position to provide a lot of support from his angle, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see him reposition in just a second. Russia's slowly being funneled off the side of it. Finally, Duckmans gets the line of sight. That's why you got to be afraid of this guy. Goes for the shots back over towards it and gets another one.
And you can hear the crowd getting excited. They want Russia to go down. They are the most dangerous threat to Korea right now. Once again, we're trying to get the res on the members of Team Russia. It looks like they will pull it off once again. Duckman's looking to try to see if he can pick off another member.
Duckman's realizing it's a little bit dangerous to go for that same peak after he got multiple downs from it. Gonna go ahead and go for a reposition off of it. Russia slowly creeping forward, but they've taken so much damage. Minoru's up on the side of this. Grenade's gonna come out, get another down onto Russia. They are just having to chain res as they make this push.
That was a doozy's grenade that got Seiya there. Disaster here from the Russian team.
God.
Look at Duckman.
Oh my God!
Down.
Goes up, tries to go for the play onto it, but Russia finally does make it inside the building, but at what cost?
All right, Uba trying to defend this. A nice spray with that AK. Is he going to get another one? No. He only has one hit point, but they're all down. Russia takes out Thailand.
That is absolutely huge. Somehow, Russia managing to cling to life. The new circle has popped, but you can see not inside the circle, so Russia's still going to have to continue up towards the north. We have Vietnam looking back over towards Germany, but Germany still has 4 members up.
This is huge here for Russia. They will be closing the gap onto Korea with this game. Now, can they finish this one off? They have a full German squad left. Argentina, and let's not forget about Vietnam.
Grenades are starting to roll out. I think that Levis might be fine off of this. So, oh, it was a smoke grenade that dropped next to him. I just got too excited. I was hoping that was going to be a frag grenade there. So, Vietnam just trying to get a little bit more information on what's going down around him. Already at 6 kills, Germany has been very quietly dominant back over towards this side of the circle.
Yeah, they've been doing a great job maintaining the eastern control here, looking to see what's going on with these smokes up by Vietnam. You can see BenzQ looking up there. Aduzi has repositioned himself, pushing up forward towards Argentina's position and getting themselves in the circle.
Vietnam has eyes back over towards Germany, but it's going to be Russia again that forces him back around, and Basil has to be ridiculously careful. This reposition coming out from Russia is very, very strong at this stage. They seem like they have an idea on where a lot of these fights are happening at. They've been listening to the third party, trying to figure out how they can get involved in it, because naturally, Russia wants to stack as many points as possible. They know Korea is out right now. This is their opportunity.
And you can see that Seiya has that Mark 14 sniper rifle, which means they have picked up that level 3 utility for themselves as well, giving them an even stronger position going into these last couple circles.
So Russia slowly creeping along these angles, perfectly content back down towards the south. Meanwhile, Germany looking back over towards Vietnam, taking a couple of shots off from this. Levis, I don't know if you want to go for this res right now. Basil's like, hey, res me, bro. It's perfect. Safe res. Safe res. It's fine. It's fine.
It's all good.
All right, so here you go. We're looking back down towards the center of the circle. So that's going to be where all the action's going to be being pushed to, slowly funneling back over towards this, as now looks like finally Russia and Germany are looking back towards each other. Gonna have to figure out how this goes. Argentina shows up big, though, and gets the down onto 2.
Levi's is just hanging out in the blue. He knows he's dead to rights, doesn't want to get those kills. Confirm the kills here for Argentina.
Now we've got Germany still sitting on 4-man strong. Now I say that right as soon as a couple of downs go through. Russia's found the angle. Uba is a beast right now.
Uba is going absolutely bonkers today. They did lose 2 members though, so there's only 2 here left for Russia. They have to fight through Argentina and Germany to get to the center of the circle, and Uba is the last member standing here.
Home is just trying so valiantly to hold this angle. Everything hinges on him right now. He is right in the middle of all of the action. Looking back over towards Germany, he sees his down teammate. It's as good as dead at this point. Uba now realizing where Germany is at. This guy has had a phenomenal day. Can he find the angle? Everybody's focused back down towards Pome right now. I don't know if Germany is watching this angle.
Yeah, Germany, I'm not sure if they're aware that Uba's coming up on here. Chris and Kate are thoroughly focused on Argentina.
Slowly creeping up back behind this. It's Chris will be the first person he has sight lines on. Argentina is still drawing their attention. Uba gets the down onto 1, but does not spot out the other one. Pome is actually turning the damage back over towards Uba. He's just trying to survive. Drops to his belly, just trying to buy a little bit more space.
It's Uba so dangerously low here, but Pome is fighting Germany. Kate gets him. Can Uba clutch this? It's a 1v1 it looks like here.
So now we've got Kate on one side of it. Both guys have been damaged. Uba does manage to get his meds up. He heard where the shots come through. He's just hunting right now. Kate's just trying to get something out of this. He has the angle for it. Who's going to spot out whom with the headshots off of this? Kate's just listening to footsteps. Does hear it. Gets the damage off, and that's going to be Germany walking away with the round win.
Uba almost clutched it. He was so close for Russia. What a performance by them, but Germany ends up coming out. Huge, huge moment there for Kate getting those shots.
Oh my God. Nations Cup is just absolutely fire right now.
My heart is racing. These Russians are really looking to overtake Korea here. Korea.
They're just climbing hand over fist up that leaderboard, and they have managed to just surprise everybody. Such a phenomenal showing coming out. But here you go. You can see we're getting everything set and ready to move into our last round of the day. Match number 5. Erangel for the Nations Cup. Everything is on the line right now. Plane is up and in the air. So with this very friendly plane path, nothing too crazy. Everybody should be able to get just about where they want to go.
We talked about it before the matchroom. Will there be a hot drop? You think maybe, I think not. We'll see.
Maybe.
I should have bet you $5
In
maybe.
my heart of hearts, I want to say yes, there is the potential for it. Also, we could see just a couple of teams clustering on top of each other. As look at how many people are jumping out, looking towards Razak right now. That could be a big factor. We've seen this be very, very popular inside of this. Naturally, Razak, School, Pachinki, a little action early coming out from the Finns as they made a nice little push back over towards this location as well. But I want to say this is kind of a comfort circle right now, unless somebody decides to be a little bit more aggressive. Now, the question I have is, okay, maybe we might not see anybody hot dropping, but we could see a lot of traps being set up. People just knowing where other people are going to rotate at right now and just trying to sit and wait, going for that squad wipe very, very early.
And I think two teams you got to keep your eye on for potential for that kind of situation are Vietnam and Canada. They need kills. They need a big game to give themselves a shot at winning this. So they have to be ultra aggressive. Every kill is so valuable for them.
Right now, it feels like so much is on Pio and Uba's shoulder. I mean, Uba has just been the absolute Uber Minch right now. He has been showing up and being a Superman. Pio has been a little bit quieter today. Circle pops and it moves all the way over to the east. And look at how much water's inside of that. That's going to make this really, really dangerous.
Yeah, this is going to be a tight circle to start out here. Outside of this circle are both Korea and Russia and Canada and Vietnam. All four of our top teams are not going to have an easy route necessarily into the circle. Maybe Vietnam, not so bad because they're up in Severny, but the other teams are going to have to traverse some difficult terrain to get there.
Big thank you to Unbiased Player Unknown, who I know loves evil circles as well as I do, so looks like we're getting a ton of them, so we're going to have to keep an eye on how this rotates and how these circles come into play, because right now, again, it feels like one of these games that's just on a knife's edge. One mistake could really tear this apart for either Korea or Russia and have that opportunity for potentially Canada to make their way up the leaderboard.
Can you imagine if this comes down to Korea and Russia as the last two teams standing? How incredibly insane that moment would be. That's what I want. That's what I want.
Oh, I'm willing to bet that the audience would just self-destruct. There'd just be explosions happening everywhere. It'd just be way too much hype and energy. I mean, let's be honest. The Korean fans out here have turned out en masse, and they are absolutely supporting their region right now. Taking a look at them, you can see that we got Loki, Aqua 5, Pio, and the Onyx all set up and posted. Meanwhile, Canada, in a very quiet, comfortable part of the map right now, kind of distant from the circle. Nothing too super scary, but it's going to be probably about 2 or so kilometers to go in here. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of very long rotations coming out for several of these teams, opting towards the north, trying to go up around Stalber, bypass that area. But that's kind of the problem that happens in PUBG and competitive. Everybody tends to have the same idea, and suddenly this really safe spot you thought would be perfectly fine has 10 teams sitting there.
Right, a lot of times you'll see teams be like, well, not many teams drop in the north, so we're just going to rotate to the northern part of the circle, and then all of a sudden 3 other teams are doing that, and you're caught in a bad situation where you're pinched between a couple of other teams, and then you just get blown apart, and you're like, well, it seemed like a safe rotation, and it's not. So a lot of this is going to come down to scouting. You got to send someone out there, get the information, find out what's safe, and find a way to position yourself.
Argentina doing a little bit of a regroup right now, and here we go. We've got Thailand making the push as well. A lot of early rotations inside of a circle like this is not surprising in the slightest. Everybody wants to go in, carve out their home as early as they can, because nobody wants to be the last to a rotation party like this, because there is not, one, a lot of really easy locations to get to, and with as much water again inside of the circle, just less territory. No, Duckmans, that's not what you want to do right now.
Oh, no.
And they've only got a buggy. Can they flip it with this? It's up against the tree. I don't think that they can do it.
I don't think they're going to be able to. They're going to have to hoof it on foot here to get to that compound, if that is indeed where they intend to go. It looks like they might be forced to go there if that was not their original plan.
Well, now it is the plan. You just, modifications, right? That's the way you play PUBG. When stuff goes wrong, you just got to go, okay, nope, we're going to make our way over here. Vietnam on the move, as well as, looks like Thailand managed to find themselves a car to work with now.
You know, that's what, going back to your point you just made, oh, we got some shots here. This is big. Aqua 5 taking some shots at the Aussies here, but it doesn't look like anything is connected quite yet.
It's a little ambitious, we'll say that. I mean, you can tell Korea's a little bit hype right now. They're like, we need every point. It's just 2 points between us and Russia. Meanwhile, Australia is trying to make their way over towards a safe spot. Korea's running a very interesting split right now. I think might be on the hunt for kills, because they're all spread across the map. As you can see, over towards the west, they're all the way from Georgia Pool towards that bridge off to the side of it with Aqua 5 over there. Meanwhile, you can see Team UK up towards the north. Circle's now coming in. Russia's back down towards military base, which could be a big factor because it looks like Germany might be set with a bridge camp.
Shippies just ran over Duckman in the background there. Well, going back to what you said about Korea, they're set up right now. I think they're trying to see if they can catch some teams trying to rotate through that area, going up to that northern area of the circle that teams might think is, you know, unoccupied.
Duckman's having a world of hurt from cars right now, but you can see Godv looking back over towards the Brazilians. Preps out the grenade. That might land down next to Rusty Zero. Gonna have to keep an eye on it. It's just a lot of shots coming through, and there you go. Rogi does go down inside of this. Rusty Zero has the angle for it. Looks like smokes are gonna come down to try to provide a little bit of cover, but really there's just a couple of Chinese in this location. They're just having to defend it up. Reinforcements now on the way on a buggy. That's very, very dangerous. It is so easy to get shot off the back of that.
Yeah, but they got to get in here and try to capitalize on this knock that Godby has got. The grenade does confirm the kill onto Rogi here for Godby. And here comes December and Mad.
They just flood into this, running up the hillside, trying to find the angle for it. Andy has a sight line back over towards us. Rusty Zero's just trying to look for it, playing down the lower part of the hill, just trying to see if they can get any sight lines, any information off of it. Being very, very careful about this push. December's starting to make his way up towards the building. What information can he get? What type of angles can he find off of this? And you can see Andy's just trying to get some grenades out, get a little bit more space away from the Chinese players.
Yeah, there's a lot of windows on the top story of that building, but December gets a grenade onto Rusty Zera, so it's just two standing here for Brazil right now.
Brazil has had a couple of issues as far as things have been going in the Nations Cup so far. Looking back down, they're very outnumbered at this point. Third-party fighting starting to happen. Everybody's drawing eyes back over towards this direction. Andy feels like maybe there might be somebody back over there. Nice grenade toss. Actually, the moment Mad walks right into that, so it's going to be a little bit more space bought out for Brazil right now. You can see Godby going for the reposition. Does Andy see it?
What a cooked grenade there to get the knock onto Mad. Now, looks like they might be able to get the res here as Mad is able to get in the battle.
Brazil's pushing
grenade
this.
From RD takes him down.
Brazil is pushing into this. They know that they're outnumbered and they need to get anything they can. December's holding the angle back over for it, but the two members just walk up. December's taken down. This is now a 2v2 as somehow RDNX survives with 1 hit point.
1 hit point left. Now you've got Godby trying to capitalize on this. He knows they're hurt, but he's taking some shots from Zoid from Australia.
God knows he's in a lot of trouble. Godby's just trying to find the angle back over for it. Summer's taking that damage as well. That's a member of China down. It's just Summer. He's trying to find the angle back over for it. He's just trying to find his way out of it, but there's just too many. He does get one of them, but he has near on no life, and there you go. China is out.
Wow, what a back and forth battle there between Brazil and China, and Andy FPS, one of the best players in Brazil, able to clutch it out.
Oh my God, look at this. It's gonna be a push coming up from Thailand. Are they aware? Surely they heard the firefight coming over here. Do they want to participate? And again, they flipped their vehicles, man. You guys gotta practice your driving.
We're seeing a lot of accidents with the vehicles across this tournament, but Thailand hungry for kills, trying to see if they can leapfrog a little bit in the point standings, get themselves some extra cash.
So Thailand looking back over towards this. Now you can see Duckman's just trying to find the angle for it. They have the numbers. Brazil already made a very aggressive push just a second ago. You can see a little bit damage at this point. Naturally already just lost those last two members. They're just trying to find a little bit of angle, get some time to recover. They need to get a very big down to start with this. And Sigma actually taking some shots on the other side of it.
Yeah, some damage being done there. Thailand looking to see if they can set up, find the angles in this window. You can see Shippy's got that Car 98 here. Maybe he can land a nice domed headshot with that thing, get this rolling for them. But you can see a couple other teams, Vietnam and Australia, are taking pot shots into this.
Korea's already on the move right now, making their way back over towards the north. No surprise there. This was fully expected in how they were going to make the pass back over for it. Russia coming into the circle late as well. New circle pops directly centered up on a ton of teams. Korea and Russia are going to have to figure out how they want to handle this, as again, these are the guys at the top of the leaderboard. They're sitting out trying to be passive so that way they can get a little bit more survival, but with these circle shrinks going the way that they're going, it's going to make it very hard for them to find any home.
Neither team wants to make a mistake here. That's why you see our top two teams being very cautious entering this circle. A lot of the other teams here playing for prize money, so they're trying to get kills and points, being aggressive. We're going to see some fighting here, as we saw with Thailand pushing into Brazil. Brazil and China fighting early on. They want to try to secure higher positions.
So Russia on the move. They're probably going to commit to staying edge. Both these teams going to be very quiet for right now. Very comfortable with what's going on. You can see Canada having a couple of shots thrown back their way, as Pome is also going to follow it up with a grenade, but I think we can see them. Canada should be safe where they're at right now, depending on the bounce, but it's going to go on the outside. Just do a little bit of damage, scare the door, blow it back inside there, but should be okay.
I thought that one might bounce through the door there. Doesn't quite get it. Moody, though, gets a nice rip on the ribbox.
Look at that. Moody just follows it up. Argentina's kind of regretting being a little bit aggressive now as they're making their way back up that hill. Do lose one member for it. So Argentina is going to have the high ground based off of it, but Canada is running a 2-2 split, so could collapse back up onto this angle.
Another knock here for Maluk from Canada. These are big, big points if they can secure this. The smoke does come down as they're trying to get two sills in. We'll see if they can get this res off. You can see K-Mine trying to position to prevent this, but now Russia's going to be pushing in onto UK.
Are they going to try to do this? No, don't spin your teammate's car. Uba's just going to pull back away from this. Are we going to see them push back over towards UK? Russia knows that they need points. Remember, just 2 points behind right now. They need anything they can get, and it looks like they might be looking back over towards Team UK. there's 2 members right there. There's your points you need, boys.
Yeah, it's Team UK with a 2-2 split here across a large area. They've got those yellow houses that are the south of Yasnaya as well. We'll see if Russia will take advantage of that odd man situation as they push forward. A battle going on here between Chinese Taipei and Japan. 2 members of Japan are down there.
Lots of members of Japan down inside that position, but we're coming back over here with Russia still on the hunt looking for Team UK. You can see they jumped inside the UAZ, but this is going to be a lot of bullets, and that's 2 points making its way over towards Russia. That's tying it up.
Too little, too late there for the UK. They weren't able to make it out in time, and Russia now is tied with Korea in the standings.
Russia should be fine, should be able to get this res off. Plenty of smokes. Angle should be clear on the backside of this. They also have themselves a building that they can make a play off of. The other 2 members of Team UK looking back on the side of this. And you know Korea is paying attention to the kill feed right now. Every single time they see a Russian get a kill, they know that they need to step it up and get something themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Korea doing something really interesting here. Inonix way up on the northern part of the circle. Pio way on the eastern part. Loki and Aqua 5 together. This is their strategy. Pio and Inonix are allowed to roam and do what they want. Loki and Aqua 5 are kind of their brute force, their blunt object they use to breach situations they want to get into.
Finland losing Jimpty in a side skirmish, but naturally we're going to try to stay as connected to the guys at the top of the leaderboard as we can. No disrespect to Finland right now, but they're kind of Freeland, so really we're not going to be watching them too much.
They usually like to say Winland, but today in this tournament it has not been their tournament for them. Back over to Russia here, who has secured this compound, and they are going to hold on to that as we wait to see where our second circle will go.
All right, and here we go. Just another center up. Korea does have a little bit of foothold inside of this. Naturally, you can see it looks like just Argentina's going to have to make their push off to one side of it. So now, really, we do have Thailand and Brazil. Remember, we saw them a while ago. They're right in the middle of the circle.
Yeah, this could be really interesting. It looks like it might start to center around that compound that Thailand has opted to push into early on. They haven't tried to breach and push Brazil out of there yet. They're happy to stay on that southeastern side of it. Maybe they might think about trying to push them out at some point, but Thailand's also kind of, I think, a little bit battered today psychologically. They just got beat up by Russia.
I mean, Russia has had an absolutely explosive day. It feels like they're kind of beating up on everybody. Oddly enough, based off of rotations, we see Russia and Korea on opposite parts on the circle on a regular basis, and that's what's freeing up a lot of these kills. Iroh's looking back down towards the Argentinians right now, seeing if he can find any sight lines, but it's so hard at this angle inside of this building, looking into that forest that's popped up. You just don't really have any clear way to actually get anybody until they're right on top of you.
Yeah, there's not much sight lines coming out of there. Over to Inonix here, who is outside the circle, but he's making his way in, just trying to get all the information he can up on this hill for the rest of his team who's out in front of him. Just taking out some windows there, maybe seeing if he can get lucky with a shot or two. Here are the other 3 members who are posted up on the northern end of the circle.
Australia running a 2-2 split, as well as Vietnam. You can see Argentina just towards the north of Turkey. Meanwhile, surrounding entirety of Finland right now. Off to the side of that, you've got Thailand and the Brazilian, or I should say, yeah, 2 Brazilians over there. They're just kind of stacked up on top of each other, so Korea now on the move, probably just going to firmly regroup. Towards the north, it's kind of quiet right now just because of the way that the spacing and the terrain plays into it. You can take a couple of pot shots back and forth, but unless you just choose to breach inside of that, well, I say this, Japan's just going to go ahead and get a nice spray, but it's going to be a follow-up coming out from Duckmans to eliminate Japan.
Wow, Duckmans gets the headshot. Depp does do some damage here to Canada. That is crucial here. That might actually put Canada in danger of not being able to compete for the championship.
So now Korea's firmly regrouped at this stage. Again, we keep talking about it. One mistake. There is so much pressure on these players right now. It has got to be so intense. Every single time you hear the audience just erupt in cheers, this place shakes with how excited these guys get, and that's got to add that next level. Just going, okay, I have to make sure I hold this together. Meanwhile, Moody's coming over here and just picking up loot from 2 different people. It's like, thanks, teammate. I appreciate everything you collected for me.
It's been so exciting, and Japan does end up going down there, but Japan with 2 chicken dinners here in this tournament. They played very, very well. This is an up-and-coming region that continues to surprise on the international stage.
I mean, Japan has been developing a very nice region for quite a while. Naturally, if you guys are enjoying this, make sure you tune into all of the regions, anything that you want to support inside the area. Naturally, each one of the teams you see here is competing in some form of fashion in the PUBG official leagues. So now here we go. Where's the circle going to go? Shift back over towards the east, where all of the violence and mayhem has been at. So with this, Russia, Korea, Australia, all going to have to move.
Right, the two big teams are outside of this circle. They're going to have to play the edge game. Korea might have to try to find a way in through Vietnam, potentially, depending on how they rotate. Russia, on the other hand, maybe if they go south here, they might bump into the US.
US, I love you right now, but just get away from this spot. This is very, very dangerous depending on how they go through with this. So now based off of their positioning, Russia is still just trying to get a little bit more information. Korea still on the hunt, trying to find some kills at very long range, but hasn't necessarily wanted to make the push in yet. Both those teams still playing very passive and very controlled.
Well, I think they're probably smartly playing to their strong suit. They're insane snipers. PO and Anonix are absolute monsters with sniper rifles. They're great at long range. They can land shots at absurd distances.
All right, well, here comes the push coming out from the Russians. There's not a lot of territory that's going to be safe at this stage. Moody is just kind of posted up back over here by himself. Might actually spot out this rotation. He's going to actually hop into a motorcycle himself and ride along with them. So it's a full-on motorcycle gang just cutting across this. USA does get a sightline back over towards Russia, hitting a couple of shots back over to it. Got to be very careful. Russia loses one member inside of their rotation.
Bahawaka with the great pick onto Kemba there. Let's see if Russia can find a way to get him. He's got that rock there. Bahawaka now taking some shots from the Russian team.
Look at this. Russia's trying to get some retaliation damage back over towards it. USA just playing right along the edge of the circle. Kimba's just crawling. He's going to get taken out. So there we go. Officially down to 3. Russia's just trying to spot out, trying to get the kills back over towards it. So does get one of their own.
Yeah, another couple points here possibly coming in for Russia as they post up in this battle with the U.S. You can see Valiate does get confirmed there. Now Korea, in the meantime, has made their way north, back over to the battle. Aduzi trying to land some shots onto the USA members. Bahawaka.
Motorcycle, is he going for a push onto this? I was going to say that's going to be a little bit too risky. PO goes down in exchange with the UK right now. That could be a big influencer. We talk about it. This is the big guy. Oh my God, Michael is going to take out PO real early.
Wow, that is disaster for South Korea. You can't lose your best player like that. PO overstepping his bounds and gets taken out.
USA's Bahawaka just trying to survive right now. Russia's just wanting every point that they can muster. Looking back on the other side of this, Moody just hears everything happening. It's like, I don't think I want to participate in any of this. Sharky goes down as well. That's going to make it even worse. Oh no, going to go ahead and flush out Drassel. So that's just more and more points stacking up for Russia.
Even losing a member early here for Russia, they've already picked up 4 big kills. The U.S. was able to get 1, but they can't follow up on it. It's Bahawaka. Sharky is down here. He is the last one standing. Bahawaka taking a lot of damage. Now Moody getting in on this, hitting up Uba.
Taking a couple of shots on the outside as Uba was playing it a little bit aggressive. He's going to go down. Both star players for both the top 2 teams have gone down very early inside of this game.
Wow, what a moment here. Great shooting by Moody, playing the spoiler for Russia, who are just down to a doozy and Seiya left.
Here's the big thing. Russia's been very active in the early game. They've been picking up these kills as they move through. That could be a huge factor. They have to be so cautious at this point. New Shrink goes in, and we just keep moving further and further into Mansion.
We're going to get a Mansion circle, it looks like here, Matrim. You can see Loki. We're still 3 members strong for Korea. They still have Anonix, one of the best players in this tournament so far. He popped off yesterday. Maybe he'll be the hero here.
The problem with it is where Korea's at. They're inside that forest we were just talking about a second ago. There's not clear sight lines. They need kills right now. They need everything that they can get, unless Russia goes down early. Just 2 members up. Moody could be the hope for Korea right now as Russia is making the push on the side of this. Has to be very cautious. Remember, back over towards heaven earlier, we saw that that's where Thailand was at, where Australia was at. This is the same angle that Russia's pushing back over towards. There's a lot of teams that are going to be making their way into the circle right where Russia's moving to.
Yeah, we'll see if Moody can continue to play spoiler there for Team Canada. Moving over to Thailand, who's in a battle with the last 2 members of the UK. Michael is knocked here. There's just one left standing. Moody trying to get some shots onto a doozy. Only a little bit of damage done.
You can see Aduzi's just going to cut it over there. I've heard of Tokyo Drift there, but we got some Soul Drift going on as he just does that slide right off to the side of it. Russia does look like they're going to manage to regroup. Korea does manage to get a couple of shots back over towards this, but the kill's going to go over towards Duckman's. Still holding that angle back over here. So Russia, what are you going to do?
Yeah, Thailand is going to have to abandon heaven here. They're going to have to move down. It's a tricky position to get out of. There's quite a bit of exposed terrain around it.
So now Russia, they still need to make their way forward about another 100 meters. Russia's trying to figure out what they're going to do. Thailand just opts into running straight down the hillside. That's a lot of damage coming out from the Koreans towards him, but I think he manages to survive for just right now. Back behind this, the rest of Thailand is going to come back down towards this rock. Actually, look at that. They're separating out at this stage. They're going full-on Syndic mode, it feels like.
Yeah, they're pushing ahead. They're going to let Minoru patch up here. Seiya trying to find a way to get into the circle, waiting as long as they possibly could, hoping that the other teams will start fighting each other and get distracted.
Russia has to be so cautious on this approach. Loki is just looking back over towards these angles, and you can see this is kind of the problem with where Korea is playing. There's no clear sight lines. People can just bounce back and forth between these trees, and it's so hard. You can maybe get it down, but you have to push to finalize something, and there we go. Aqua 5 realizes, okay, let's stop playing this little peekaboo game. Let me get into a spot where maybe I can get some kills.
Yeah, this position is a bit of a double-edged sword. Yes, you have cover for yourself, but that means there's a lot of places for other teams to hide as well. So trying to get through there can be very, very challenging. Here's Russia trying to find a way into the circle. They have managed to find the western edge.
One thing to note is they're on the backside of Thailand, taking a couple of shots. Keep in mind, based off of that angle, they were trying to avoid Korea, so a doozy does manage to get it down. Might be able to flush this out. It depends on how Thailand moves back between this. Minoru is in a bad spot. New circle pops, staying back down towards Mansion, but really it's about what's happening between Korea, Thailand, and Russia, and who's going to pick up these kills.
Oh, Loki, can you get the flush here? No, and Doozy steals it.
Doozy takes it away from him. Korea just cannot get a kill that they so desperately need right now.
Russia is playing heartbreaker here. 7 big kills for them already. 0 so far for Korea, who has also lost PO.
Korea has to step it up. They have to be aware. They have to know that Russia is just stacking kills at this point. The problem comes into play is, where does Russia go? There's nowhere safe for them, and they know it. They're just playing right along the edge of the circle, trying to go, where do we even move to?
And now Seiya's looking over to try to find Moody, try to maybe get some revenge for those earlier kills that he got. Let's see how this plans out. Now Korea is going to have to push into this circle, and there is a lot of congestion at the northern edge, including a full Vietnam squad.
And Vietnam has been explosive as they make their ways through it. Russia is just looking like they're trying to follow up back behind that, figure out where those kills went over towards. So Russia gonna have to push right back on over towards Turkey. Meanwhile, Korea looking towards Vietnam. This could be a very hazardous fight, as right along this hillside, there's so many little dips and valleys. You can see these guys are so close to each other, haven't realized it. Listening to footsteps is so key. Aqua 5 goes down to the blue zone at this stage of the game. Are you kidding me?
I wonder if that might have been a disconnect there. That might be a real tragedy for Korea. It's Loki and Inonix here, the last 2 members, and Vietnam is well aware of what is going on.
They're walking into a 2v4. Loki's down. Inonix is the last person up. Does manage to get it down on it, but he is the last hope for Korea. Looking back over this angle, he's almost dead, trying to find something out of it, and Korea is down and out.
That is it. Korea is out of contention.
Russia's going for it.
Russia is pushing in onto Thailand here. Shippy trying to defend for Thailand.
Thailand's just holding up the stairs right now. Grenades are starting to pop back over around that angle onto it. Look at this. You can tell Russia knows what's going on. They know they have the kills. They just need to keep accumulating whatever points that they can get at this stage.
Now Russia can play safe and cautious. They are in the leaderboard. They are on top of the leaderboard here. Let's see if they can get it done. Shippy narrowly avoiding disaster there.
But let's be honest, it's Duckmans. We've seen this guy go absolutely nuts. It's going to be real big for him, with Russians taking a lot of damage. Russia is eliminated in 9th.
In 9th place, so it's going to take an absolute miracle for someone to overtake them. I don't know if there's even enough players alive that Moody could kill everybody or Vietnam could kill everybody to surpass them. Russia looks to be firmly in the driver's seat here.
So Vietnam back over towards the north, still holding down the forested areas. We're going to have to see how everybody makes the moves. Finally moving away from Mansion just a little bit towards those fields, and those fields are so deadly. They are just out and in the open. So Germany's making the plays around that. We do have Chinese Taipei that's holding down a building inside a position as well. Moody, somehow, some way, still alive at this stage of the game.
Moody doing the best he can here to give Canada potential higher position here. I don't think it's going to happen. There's just too much he has to do. It looks like we pretty much have our 1 and 2 solidified as far as we can tell, but you never know. Anything can happen, and Iroh is keeping Moody pinned down.
Moody, you're in a real rough spot there, buddy. I mean, unless you somehow manage to hit like a crazy shot or just manage to drive the hell out of that motorcycle, that rock might be your tombstone.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. He's going to have to make a mad dash now. The good news is he does have a motorcycle, which is the best vehicle for doing that.
I mean, if you just got to get the hell out of Dodge, that's the way to go. Duckman's still on the hunt, looking around. Vietnam now on the move. They've heard a couple of shots, but Levis goes down inside of an exchange. Vietnam still just trying to push up back towards this hillside. Another shot's going to come out, forcing him to drop back down on this angle. He's just spraying the window. But look, Turkey could reposition off the side of this and get a nice third party. Actually, Nim just goes down to a nice grenade from SR.
SR Vietnam trying to get through here. Basil taking a lot of damage as well. Sapao goes, looks like he might go down, but Basil does take down SR here. Sapao down to 1 health.
Narrowly dodging, ducking, weaving through this. Finally, Vietnam goes, okay, that is just not the direction we want to go. It is too dangerous. Sapao back behind this rock. Not inside the safe zone as of yet. A little bit of damage was done back over towards what was looking back on this angle, but should be perfectly fine. You can see it's just getting clustered. 15 people still alive. 6 teams making the move right now, so have to be very careful as how they move around the mansion.
Oh, Sapao landing some nice headshots here. He might be able to get the res onto Basil going, throwing up some smokes, but Germany's coming in on this. Sapao continues to have to push forward.
So Germany has an angle back over towards this. Really, it's a little bitty mini skirmishes that are happening as people get sightlines back and forth. Sapao sees the grenade explode right in front of him. Germany still has 3 members up on the hunt, just trying to find the angle. They have the most control over the circle right now and kind of funneling everybody to stay forced inside of Mansion.
And now the circle has tightened up and Germany controls that southern edge so well. They've got that hill in front of them there for cover. You've still got the members of Chinese Taipei in that house that's in the middle of the circle. So this is looking to be quite an advantageous position for them.
Vietnam's last member crawling around, just seeing maybe if one of these grenades will connect, buy him a little bit more space onto this. Turkey still in an interesting spot, how they're lined up. Chinese Taipei hits a nice shot back over towards the bow. That's going to go ahead and knock out Vietnam.
Vietnam goes down in 4th place. What a tournament for them. They played so well here on an international stage. They finally got a chance once again to come to one of these events, and they came out big, especially with that first game.
Oh, Leo just has his head ripped off by Iro there. Turkey has been quietly hanging out right in the middle of Mansion, but look at the push. They know that they got the down. This is the vulnerable time, so just running back up this hillside, throw in the grenades, find the angles for it. Maybe you're going to get something out of it, but you're just trying to stop the reses. Anything that's going off is just going to stall it. So now you can see everybody's just trying to play alongside of this, and everybody from Turkey is using all the utility they've been able to store this entire game.
There are Molotov cocktails coming in here everywhere as Turkey is storming this compound, trying to knock Chinese Taipei out of the best position into this circle. You can see Merrick leading the push here, but no, he goes down to a great grenade by Chai Wei.
It is just so deadly right down inside that garage right now, and you can see Turkey's trying to figure out, is it worth? Do we continue the push up onto this? Meanwhile, Germany's like, let's just position for the following bloodbath. We'll just let you guys fight it out and then just rip you apart afterwards.
Yeah, Chris has got that M249. Let's see if he can rip some faces with it. He's posted up. He's hearing all this battle going on as Sixmo has stayed behind to cover his teammates from that compound.
All right, so it looks like a little bit of a retreat is coming out from Turkey. Now aware where it's Chris is at. He's going to go down to a nice grenade, just dropped right at his feet. So now Germany realizes, okay, their outside push is in a little bit of trouble. That's going to be a very risky res to try to go for from anybody on Germany. They know that's a vulnerable spot. Grenades are starting to rain down next to them as well. Germany's just trying to go for these repositions, but with the defense that came up of the building, that forced Turkey back down on a different angle.
Yeah, with Chris losing that left flank here, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for Germany to push up. Meanwhile, the battle still continues to rage here between Turkey and Chinese Taipei. You can see a beautiful mind trying to find some headshots with that SKS through that window.
We've got Chinese Taipei finally down on the first floor of their buildings. Look like they might be trying to figure out what's going on and where Turkey's at. But Iro, this guy can frag the world out right now. He's in a beautiful spot onto it. And are they going to actually be able to encroach up onto this and try to get that res? No. A couple of shots coming out from Beautiful Death is going to force it back away. There is that touch of a hillside, but I don't know. This is really, really hazardous to go for. Brexco actually has the angle on this, might be able to provide a little bit of defense.
All right, we're trying to get this res down here onto Chris. Udir is up front, trying to protect his teammate. Is Brexico on the other side. A Beautiful Death, though, does get that headshot onto SR and another knock onto Chinese Taipei.
Keep in mind, we are in Circle 9, so everybody is being forced right into the center of this. It's Chris is back up, has some grenades, just trying to get a little bit of revenge onto what happened to him. Beautiful Death steps back, doesn't have the grenade connect onto him, but slowly and steadily it's Chris moving forward, just trying to get control over the center of the circle. Meanwhile, Turkey is so caught up looking back over towards Chinese Taipei, they want to catch those kills as they leave out. A big grenade coming out from Brexco's gonna take one down though.
And It's Chris is back up and firing. That's a big grenade from It's Chris.
Now Germany looking back over towards Chinese Taipei. They've got the numbers, they've got the angle, but look at those shots coming up. We are in a 2v1 as it's just trying to fight their way out, but there's nowhere to go. The blue is forcing him up inside of it, and Germany takes the last round.
Germany, chicken dinner once again for them. They've had a great finish here today. They've had a really good tournament as well, giving themselves, I believe, that's their third win.
Oh my God, that round was absolutely insane. So many different points. It was just going back and forth. It felt like Korea
Alone gets that team tons of points.
Oh, and here we go. Looks like they're starting to get everything set up. Looking over towards what's going to be our top three. In third place, it is going to be Canada, walking away with 106 points.
This NA team was stacked. They played out of their minds. They had so many wins here. And their second place is Korea. That means, Matchroom, I think we know who's going to be first.
Russia with 127 points. Those last few kills are what got them to the top. Great showing coming out from Russia today.
Congratulations to Russia. They put on a performance for the ages here today, coming from behind and taking that top spot as they head over to hoist the trophy.
I mean, look at this. These guys have played their freaking hearts out today, and it pays off right at the tail end of it. I thought that they were in trouble in that last round. They lost a couple of members really early, somehow managed to find a way to figure out how to continue getting the kills that they needed so much. And listen to that. You even have the Korean crowd showing up and showing the respect to Russia.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to show them that respect. It was all them today. They played so well. It wasn't just Uba, Seiya, Aduzi, Kemba, all had huge moments as well.
Russia at the top, walking away with the #1 spot from the Nations Cup. These guys have to be so ecstatic. Look at the smiles on the faces.
Yeah, what a great day for them. What a big moment for Russia and for the EU region. They really showed that finally somebody could topple Korea in an international event.
I know. How does it feel to finally be like the rest of us, Paper? Finally, your region doesn't win something.
Feels bad, man. No. Korea played so well. This was an absolute pleasure to watch them. Their best players come out here and strut their stuff and really put themselves even further on the map.
All right, well, guys, let's go ahead and hear from the Winters as we're going to have an interview back down on the stage.
PUBG 네이션스컵 대망의 우승팀이 나왔습니다. 장충 아레나를 장식하는 우승팀 러시아! 자, 선수들 이 무대 쪽으로 자리해 주시길 부탁드리겠습니다.
The champion is Team Russia.
직접 이야기를 나눠보는 시간을 갖도록 하겠습니다.
Talk to each one of them one by one.
아두지 선수.
First, let's talk to Aduzi.
네이션스컵에서 전 세계에서 최강의 팀은 러시아 힘을 이 무대에서
Nations Cup, and
증명해냈습니다.
on this stage, you guys proved that Russia is the strongest country in the Nations Cup. How does it feel standing right here with the trophy?
Ну, это очень крутое ощущение, и, ну, я, в принципе, рад, что мы выиграли.
우승해서 너무 기쁘다고 하십니다.
Really happy to be the champion
그렇다면
of PUBG Nations Cup.
이 경기를 펼치는 데 있어서 힘든 점, 어려웠던 점, 어떤 경기가 가장 러시아 입장에서 중요한 경기였나요?
What was the toughest moments for Team Russia? Or was there a specific game that you guys had the most trouble with?
Самая удачная игра была последняя. Мы очень хорошо играли, на уверенности ехали, ничего не боялись. И, я не знаю, наверное, все почувствовали, что мы можем выиграть, и сделали это.
마지막 경기가 가장 중요했고
The final round, of course.
잘 마무리가 된 경기인
And I
것
think that's
같아서
one
너무
of,
기쁘고
overall, I think
저희도
we
모두
wrapped up really well.
열심히 했기 때문에 긴장을 그다지 하지 않고 잘
We weren't really nervous
우승을
too
한
much
것
because
같습니다.
we were all
네,
together, and
그러면은
I
전
think that
세계에서
was the key to
응원해주고
winning.
있는 팬분들에게 한 말씀
The
해주시죠.
world is watching you
Скажи,
guys.
пожалуйста, пару
You
слов
want to have any
фанатам
special
из
shout-outs right now?
стран, которые приехали.
В первую очередь я хочу поблагодарить всех болельщиков Южной Кореи. Это создавалось очень крутое ощущение, когда они болели за свою сборную. И было реально видно, как они поддерживают свою сборную. Болельщикам из России тоже респект. Хоть их и мало тут, но они очень сильно болели, мы это чувствовали и видели. Всем остальным болельщикам тоже большое спасибо, поддерживаете свои сборные, вы делаете очень круто, когда приезжаете, болеете именно на сцене.
우선으로 한국 팬분들에게 감사의 말을
First of all, I
전하고
want to give
싶습니다.
thanks to the Korean
그리고
fans
한국 선수들에게
and also the Korean players.
열정적인 환호를 보내주신 한국 팬들을 보며 정말 대단하다고
From all
생각을
the cheers and
했고
support,
그리고 그
we've seen that it was
다음으로는
amazing.
저희 러시아 팀을
Amount of energy coming from the crowd.
아주 정말 감사합니다.
And for all the
사람이 별로
fans
없었지만
rooting for Russia
여러분들
at the venue,
못지않게
special thanks to them too.
가득 찬 응원이었던 걸 느꼈습니다.
And we could feel the energy
네,
from the
여러분,
crowd. It was
부탁드리겠습니다.
filled with energy and passion.
자,
Thank you.
이어서 마이크를 세냐 선수에게 넘겨보도록 하겠습니다. e스포츠의
러스크
성지 대한민국에서 열린
세난.
네이션스컵 러시아가 처음으로 우승을 차지했어요. 우승
The
소감
first
말씀해 주시죠.
Nations Cup, Russia takes it. How does it feel right now?
Я не знаю, я первый раз выиграл, в принципе, поэтому я не знаю, что делать. Это очень круто выиграть с таким камбэком, тем более сборная Кореи сделала вообще невозможное. Никто не ожидал, ну, из нас, по крайней мере, что они так будут играть. Это какие-то, я не знаю, новые звезды, возможно, будущее. Посмотрим. Вот.
네, 굉장히 즐겁고 좋은 시간이었고 그리고 선수들과 함께 경기를 펼쳐서 정말 뜻깊은 시간이었다는 이야기 같은데요.
네, 맞습니다.
Really happy. I'm really glad.
정말
The match came down to our champion, Castor Park, just translating it.
많이 보여줬는데 오늘 이렇게 많은 팬분들 앞에서
There are so many
경기를
fans at the
펼치니까
venue.
이 현장에서
How does it
경기를
feel to
해보니까
actually play
어떤
on
느낌을
the stage in
받으셨어요?
front of so many
Каково
audience?
тебе было участвовать в играх при всех этих людях, столько зрителей?
Это круто. Спасибо всем, любым болельщикам абсолютно за такую поддержку. Я не знаю, сборной Кореи должно быть только, я не знаю, только положительные эмоции, что у них есть вот эти все люди, которые настолько хорошо болеют.
정말 응원을 받아서 너무 좋았고 정말
Receiving this
감사했고
amount of
이걸 주최해주신
support,
모든 한국
I'm really
분들
thankful
정말
for that.
감사하고
And
정말
also
무대나
to PUBG Esports, to all the
진행
Korean
이런 것들이 다
staff
너무 좋아서
behind. I'm really glad and happy about everything. So I think, and I think those are the
정말
reasons why we were able to become the champion. Another round of applause for Team Russia.
캔바 선수의
And
마이크 넘겨보도록
next,
하겠습니다.
let's talk to Kemba.
네, 네이션스컵 오늘 이렇게 4명의 멤버들과 함께 이 무대에서
With
대결을
your
펼쳐서
teammates,
우승을
you
차지했는데요.
were able to go through
뜻깊은
all the
시간이 됐을 것
matches,
같습니다.
and I'm
캔바 선수의
pretty sure this means a
우승
lot
소감
to you.
말씀.
How does it feel to become the champion of Nations Cup?
быть победителем.
Не знаю, первый раз выигрываю, до сих пор не верится. В общем, очень круто.
처음 우승을 해보는데 아직도 믿기지 않고
It's my
정말
first win ever.
행복하다고 하십니다.
So I can't believe it, and I'm really, really happy.
어느 순간에 우리 러시아가 우승을 차지할 수 있을 거라고 생각하셨어요?
Was there a moment that you felt that Team Russia was going to become the champion?
Первые игры.
Первый день. 첫날부터 생각하셨다고 하십니다.
From the very first day.
첫날부터 데이 1부터 자 그렇다면 앞으로 러시아가 어떤 모습을 이 펍지에서 지금 보여줄 건지 앞으로의 각오 한 말씀 부탁드리겠습니다.
Do you have any future words that what your country as a region is going to show for PUBG Esports?
Хорошо, надеюсь.
이왕이면 좋게 하고 싶다고 하십니다.
알겠습니다.
Of course we want to do well.
계속 우승하는 모습, 최선을 다하는 모습을 기대하겠습니다. 뜨거운 박수 부탁드리겠습니다.
Another round of applause for Team Russia and Kemba.
이어서 러시아 슈퍼스타
And the superstar of Team Russia, Uba.
대한민국 수많은 팬분들, 전 세계 수많은 팬분들이
Korean
우바
fans,
선수의
the fans all around the world,
박수를 보냈어요.
they were clapping to your shots. Every bullet you fired, you are the superstar, you are the champion.
네이션스컵 오늘 경기 어땠습니까?
Let's hear what you have to say about today's matches.
Отличные эмоции, учитывая. Я приеду в Корею обязательно еще раз, учитывая, какие здесь болельщики, но это просто фантастика.
정말 행복했고 한국 팬분들을
Extremely
보니까
happy.
한국에 또 오고
Looking at the
싶다는
Korean
생각이
fans, I do want to
들었습니다.
come back to
네.
Korea.
전 세계 최강임을 증명을 했는데요.
You were able to
러시아에서
prove
지켜보고
that Russia is
있는
the strongest country
러시아 팀의
right now.
팬분들에게도 한
And
말씀
of course, a
부탁드리겠습니다.
shout out to all the Russian fans watching at home. Do you have any
Болельщики
special
из
words?
России, вы классные, вы лучшие. Всю поддержку, которую я получаю в сообщениях, это просто, я не знаю, всегда мотивирует меня выигрывать больше, играть лучше. Без вас я не я.
러시아 팬분들 정말 감사하고
To the Russian
러시아
fans,
팬분들 덕분에 늘
thank you so much.
우승에 한
I
걸음
think
더 다가가는
we were able to go one step closer, and the reason why we tried to do our best, and always thankful that you guys are
그럼
always sharing and
마지막으로
supporting for us.
이제 PUBG 글로벌 챔피언십이 남아 있는데요.
There's also PUBG Global
그
Championship
우바 선수는
happening in
어떤
November.
각오를 가지고 경기 임하실 건지.
Uba, how are you going to take those matches?
С какими эмоциями и с какими мыслями ты будешь готовиться к этой игре?
Но я не знаю, как всегда, рассчитываю только на победу, потому что у меня команда лучшая в мире. Это команда FaZe Clan. Я очень горд, что я играю в ней. Поэтому, да.
저희는 항상 우승을 거머쥘 것이라고 생각을 하고
We always think in a way to become a champion
팀은 세계 최강이고
because
저는
we are
저희
the
팀을 믿기
best,
때문입니다.
and I trust in my team.
PGC에서 지켜보도록 하겠습니다. 이어서
We'll be watching you
샤샤
at PG
마이크 한번 잡아주시고요.
C, of course,
네.
and the coach.
러시아가 우승을
샤샤.
차지했습니다. 이
Team Russia
선수들의
gets to have the
경기를
trophy.
뒤에서 묵묵히 지켜봤는데
You're watching all the players
선수들에게
from behind them.
한 말씀 코칭
Do you
스태프로서
have any shout-outs
부탁드리겠습니다.
to the team?
어떠셨는지.
Как тренер, скажи, пожалуйста, пару слов нашим игрокам. Каково тебе было смотреть их игры? Вообще, как ты себя сейчас чувствуешь?
Я очень... Сложно описать мои эмоции сейчас, потому что я хочу выразить огромную благодарность самим игрокам, потому что они сделали практически, ну не то что невозможно, даже очень сложно. После такого большого отрыва, который имела сборная Кореи, они смогли все-таки вырвать победу. И мне было достаточно сложно смотреть, потому что сам турнир в новом формате для себя, и поэтому это был сложный турнир как для игроков, так и для всех.
정말 표현할 수 없는 감정을 느끼고 있습니다.
It's a feeling that I can't describe in words.
너무너무 감사하고 정말
First of all, I want to
대견하고
thank all the players from Team Russia. I'm really proud of them, and I always do want to say once again that I trust in them, every one of them. And this is actually the first one with Team Russia coming along here, and they were not nervous on stage, and really happy that they have gathered this kind of result on stage.
네이션스컵에서 우승을 차지했습니다. 앞으로 러시아 팀
You guys are the champions
국가대표로서 러시아의
from Nations
멤버로서
Cup.
국제대회에서 어떠한 모습 보여줄지
As
각오
Team
한번
Russia
해주시죠.
and as a region, what other words do you have to say that you want to show? You wanted to show in front of the world.
Не знаю, мне PUBG нравится. Понравилось первый раз, как в нее сыграл. Очень увлекательная игра. Необычная, с одной стороны, но мне нравится. И мне нравятся люди, которые в комьюнити, именно в PUBG.
저는 PUBG가 너무 좋고
I love PUBG.
정말 게임을 할 때마다 정말 행복하고
Every single time I play, I feel the happiness.
진행자들
And the
정말
people,
다 너무
the staff, I
사랑합니다.
love all of them around PUBG. And I will always have the same mindset.
사랑하고 경기를 사랑하고 이 무대에서 최선을 다하는 네이션스컵 우승팀
And the
러시아
champion.
팀에게 뜨거운 박수를 보내주십시오.
Give another round of applause to Team Russia.
다시 한번 이 무대에서 최선을 다해 주셔서 감사드리고요. 앞으로도
Thank you for
활약하는
all
모습을
the hard plays, all the great
기대하도록
plays that you have made.
그럼 전략 분석실을 만나보고 저희는
And let's go
잠시
back
후
to the analysis
시상식으로
desk.
돌아오겠습니다.
We'll have the award ceremony very soon.